these two teams and things are relatively stable. How would you like to invest in a small piece? And not coincidentally, the exact number that we need to match this offer. So I'm padding, our resources. And then the final piece, which was the one we were pretty confident we could get done. We didn't know if we'd get any of it done, but we were confident we might get this last one done, is that Fox wanted to re-up with the Avalanche and the Nuggets. So to cement them for a long period of time and maybe recalibrate the rights payment so we got more up front, again, improving, that gave us the strength to then turn around and on day 7 and say, oops, sorry, you stank.
SiriusXM has soccer covered end to end. SiriusXM FC. Hear live play-by-play and talk shows hosted by legends of the game. It's SiriusXM FC on Channel 157.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadians on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadians on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadians on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadians on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
In the summer of 1997, the New York Rangers tried to sign away Joe Sakic from the Colorado Avalanche, and owner of the Avs at that time, Charlie Lyons, had 7 days to figure out how to keep Sakic. Stopping by SiriusXM NHL Network Radio on Channel 91, Lyons was on to talk with Steve Kouleas from the Power Play about his initial reaction to the news of New York offering Sakic $15 million up front in their deal.
I remember the summer of 1997. The Rangers have offer sheeted Joe Sakic. It's a 3-year deal, $21 million, $15 million up front. I remember that part. Joining us now is Charlie Lyons, the Avs CEO. The big honcho at the time joins me on the Power Play. So where were you, Charlie, when you first heard the news? Did you fall off your chair?
Well, I didn't fall off my chair, but I left my heart in San Francisco. The phone rang. It was Mark Kisla, who terrific journalist that was always sort of ahead of stories. And he said, "Hey, what do you think about the offer sheet for Joe Sakic for $21 million with 15 up front? How you doing?" Your mind goes to, oh, he's obviously kidding. He wants something else, but he wasn't kidding. And so, it's a punch. I was getting ready to go on vacation, so that's the right time to slam somebody. And that's what it was. So I was a neighbor, my dear friend Pierre Lacroix, and collaborator, lived across the cul-de-sac. So we met at the center of the cul-de-sac, and he just gave me this look like, wow, who'd have thunk? And then, what are you going to do? What's your plan, big guy? Because that's a lot of money. 30 years ago, that kind of contract was destabilizing, to say the least. And also, Dave Checkins had done his homework, right? That they had been smart enough to, because we were publicly traded and we were a young company. He looked at the balance sheet and said, look how much money they have in the bank. So we offer $1 more. That's going to knock their company on their ear. They're going to have to take 5 picks. So, given that he had Richter and he had, the greatest player of all time, Wayne Gretzky, and by the way, Joe Sakic's idol, that was going to be a powerful team. And having just lost Messier, he needed to do something. And so he did the right thing. He said, what the heck? There's a chance they aren't going to be able to pull it off. And at least I'm making an effort. And so I felt pretty beat up, candidly.
SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is the place for expert advice, strategy, and information from the best fantasy sports analysis to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on SiriusXM 87.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadians on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadians on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadians on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadians on Sirius XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91.
Mad Dog Sports Radio has the best sports talk in the business, covering sports with a passion and knowledge you need. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 86, and the SXM app.
Mark Messier is a 6-time Stanley Cup champion. He won 5 with the Edmonton Oilers and 1 with the New York Rangers, and is the only player to captain 2 teams to Stanley Cup championships. In Edmonton, after winning back-to-back Stanley Cup championships in 1984 and 85, it wasn't until 1987 where the team would win their 3rd Stanley Cup championship. Speaking on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Messier joined Scott Laughlin for the morning skate on Sirius XM Channel 91 to talk about what it was like to win that 1987 Stanley Cup Finals series against the Philadelphia Flyers, despite blowing a 3-1 series lead and having to win it in a Game 7.
Mark, let's go back to the 1987 Canada, or not Canada Cup. That was still to come.
That was
but
a
the
good Canada Cup.
That wasn't Game 7, but that was an all-decider as well, as we know. But for Game 7... Yeah, that was pretty good stuff. But 87 in the Stanley Cup final, you're facing Philadelphia. You're up 3-1 in the series. They come back to tie it. Now you've got Game 7. Take us back to your greatest remembrances of, again, almost letting the series slip away and then having that opportunity in Game 7 to come up big, which you guys clearly did.
Well, it just goes to show you that we felt back in 87, we were really at the peak of that team in some ways. Some people think 85 team was the best team ever. 87, I think, was probably the most talented team. I think 85 team had a better overall record. I think it was 16-1 or 16-2 in that playoff year. 87, we got tangled up against Philadelphia, but we felt we're a better team. But sports isn't about who's a better team. It's about the belief system inside the dressing room. And Philadelphia wouldn't quit. Mike Keenan wouldn't allow the young Philadelphia team to quit. They were kind of banged up. They had some injuries, but they were able to extend the series after what we thought probably should have been maybe at least 4 or 5 game series. We lost, I think, the first game, if I remember correctly, and then came back and won 3 in a row, coming home to win the 5th game, only to realize that winning a championship, even after all the experience we had, is not that easy. And then going back to Philadelphia for Game 6, and they trounced us in Philly. Now we find ourselves in a Game 7, and then once you get to a Game 7, anything can happen. You can get a bad break, an unlucky bounce, as we've seen in the past, and so everything's at stake, everything's on the line, and I think luckily for us, we're able to, really kind of rely on our experiences that we had in the past. We felt incredibly confident that if we went out and played our best game and Philadelphia went out and played their best game, our best was going to be good enough. But even with that, there was so much uncertainty. And sure enough, we were able to win our 3rd cup in 4 years, which was quite an incredible feat.
That was Hockey Hall of Famer and Stanley Cup champion for the Edmonton Oilers, Mark Messier, on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio's The Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin on Channel 91.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. Sirius XM, Channel 89.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadians on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934, national feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadians on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934, national feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208, XM 219, and Internet 924. Canadians on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934, national feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208 XM 219 and Internet 924. Canadiens on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91.
On the court and off, your home for the NBA is Sirius XM. Follow all the drama as your favorite team vies for it all. Sirius XM NBA Radio, Sirius XM 86.
New York Rangers legend and Hockey Hall of Famer Mark Messier joined Scott Laughlin on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91, to share what it was like to play in the 1994 finals with the New York Rangers, as well as ending the 54-year drought for the franchise and how that team represented what a hockey team is all about.
Well, look, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about 1994 as well. You mentioned Mike Keenan. We spoke with him in studio a couple of weeks ago. He still speaks so highly of you and of that run. So take us back to ending the 54-year drought. In Game 7, you get a power play goal. You shovel a puck underneath of Kirk McLean. Stands up as the game winner, as it turns out. So take us back to that hot, steamy night. What was it, June 14th of 1994 at the Garden in New York?
Just, I guess just starting, going to the rink, trying to keep your same routine. Brian Leach and I would always drive together down through Times Square, down Broadway 7th Avenue to take a right-hand turn on 33rd Street. And you could feel things were different, even from the Upper West Side. Just the vibe and the energy of the whole city was just electrified. Getting down towards Madison Square Garden, seeing the crowd already starting to build, the police officers surrounding the Garden. It was a carnival-like atmosphere. Obviously, we knew we were something on the cusp of doing something that hadn't been done in 54 years. The magnitude of it was palpable. I mean, the energy, just everything just seemed to be so electrified. You try to keep yourself in the moment. You try to stay with your routine. Obviously, there's a much more at stake. And then, we found ourselves, much like we did in 87, up 3-1 in the series, losing to the 5th game, where it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that New York Rangers were finally going to win a Stanley Cup after 54 years. Only to find ourselves, the party atmosphere got a little bit delayed and then had to go back to Vancouver, which again, we got trounced in Vancouver, just like we did in 87. And now we're coming home for Game 7. And the same thing happened. It just, we felt good about our chances. We felt we were a better team than Vancouver. We felt that we should have wrapped up the series earlier against Vancouver, but that's the greatest thing about sports. You can think all you want, but the reality is, they got a heartbeat over there too. They got pride over there too. They're there for a reason, because they're a great team. And here we are in Game 7 and happen to go out and execute a great game plan to beat a very hungry, very young, very physical, hard team to play against in Vancouver. And luckily for us, we had a lot of experience. We had a dynamic, incredible amount of talent with Brian Leach and Sergei Zubov, Alex Kovalev, Adam Graves and Mike Richter and net, and then sprinkled in with some veterans, some hardened veterans with McTavish and Tikkanen and Steve Larmer and Noonan and Mateau and Jeff Bukaboom and Jay Wells and all the amazing players that banded together that year to create maybe not the most skilled team that's ever won a Stanley Cup, but if you look up the word team, they could put the 1994 Ranger team right there, and that year, that team epitomizes what a team is all about.
Sirius XM NFL Radio Channel 88 brings you expert analysis from former players, coaches, and executives, plus reaction to all the latest news on the only 24/7 station dedicated to the National Football League.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208 XM 219 and Internet 924. Canadiens on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208 XM 219 and Internet 924. Canadiens on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208 XM 219 and Internet 924. Canadiens on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Thursday, May the 21st. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, the Carolina Hurricanes face the Montreal Canadiens. Hurricanes on Sirius 208 XM 219 and Internet 924. Canadiens on Sirius and XM channels 167, Internet 934. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 91. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Tampa Bay Lightning head coach John Cooper stopped by for a morning skate with Gord Stellick and Scott Laughlin on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio on Sirius XM Channel 91 to talk the keys to his success over the years and the challenge of getting to the Stanley Cup final 3 years in a row.
John, I'm going to ask you to be a little bit self-analytical and, being in the business that you're in and knowing how successful you've been and what drives you and motivates you, what do you think has been the key to your success over the years? I mean, every league you've been in, you've won, you've had the staying power, and you've had all kinds of championship pedigree. If you say, hey, look, I'm still going strong, I'm still chasing another ring, what is it that keeps you going, and what is it in particular that you feel has made you as successful as you've been?
I would say there's a couple things. Internally, it's the fire is still burning. As I think that first and foremost is the biggest thing, because when you lose your passion for it, and I've watched it happen to people, then you might as well you should get yourself out, because you're just doing yourself and your team a disservice. So that passion is first and foremost the big thing. I would sit here say on the other side of things, like Jeff Vinnick as an owner, and it kind of goes back to the previous question about stability. And that's one of the things we've had. And so Julian Breezeball was my general manager in the minors and now the NHL. So we've been together for how many years? We had Steve Yzerman in the early part of that, and he kind of was like the mentor. He was the actual one that brought me in, but we've had that stability. Only 2 GMs, but both of them work together. We've had one owner, one coach, basically, since I've been there, one captain, and it's this core group of guys that have all stuck together. And I think we've kind of, I don't know how to explain it, you've kind of passed the coach-player relationship because we've been there so long, and we all just have this common goal of what we need to do. And there's a lot of pride, a lot of passion with the group of guys we have, and then Julian's done a great job of kind of filling in. And when I say fill in, it's like getting the Nick Pauls, getting the Brandon Hagels, guys that are still long-term guys but that weren't, pseudo-drafted into our system. And it's, we've been really fortunate that it's worked out the way it has. But I truly believe the stability, the belief, and the passion of the same group of people that have been together, and that's what's really helped us. It takes its toll, both physically and mentally, and I give our players credit, to come back and make the playoffs the next year. But, now we've been one and done for 2 years. We've had some breaks. We've had a little bit of turnover. And we need to get back. We need to get back to those, making some runs in the playoffs. And But I will sit here and say, I'd be remiss to say, those years, they do take a toll, and maybe it has taken a toll in the last, couple of years on us. And but I can tell now that, a couple of years of being bounced in the first round, it's just a different vibe coming in, especially this year of seeing all the players. And there's an energy I haven't felt in a while, and I think part of that is because we have been bounced, in the last 2 years.
Hear it all on demand. Your favorite shows, your favorite games. Don't miss a second of your favorite SiriusXM programming on demand with the SiriusXM app. Download it now for free.
I'm Frank Track.
Fan.
Carolina Hurricanes hockey is presented by Lenovo and is brought to you by Pepsi, Spectrum, UNC Health, Vector Security, North Carolina Education Lottery, Harris Teeter, Kia, and Cardinal Apparel. You're listening to the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network.
The Carolina Hurricanes are not opposed to setting records. They became the first team in the current playoff format to sweep through their first 2 rounds, and that in turn has given them another never been done to deal with. Hi everyone, I am Adam Gold, and tonight the Canes will finally put an end to the longest ever break between playoff series when they drop the puck in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Montreal Canadiens. Today marks 12 days since the Hurricanes last played. That 3-2 overtime win in Philadelphia that put them into the third round of the playoffs for the third time in the last 4 seasons. And with it come the questions. All the demons brought back due to conference finals of yore. And sure, we could take it back to 2009 when the Hurricanes were swept by the Penguins. But why? Only one player in the series was even in the league that year. Jordan Staal, the Hurricanes captain, then with the Penguins, who was in his 3rd season at the time. He was the alternate captain of the Hurricanes 10 years later when Carolina surprised the defending champion Capitals and the Islanders before being broomed out by Boston. More accurately, the 2 matchups with Florida, that matters. Each which saw the Canes with home ice advantage. Each ended painfully. In fact, last year's 5-game series loss wasn't nearly as competitive as the 2023 sweep, which had every game decided by 1 goal, including that epic 4-overtime crusher in Game 1. Truth is, the past doesn't really matter at all. This team isn't last year's team. This team might look the same to those who haven't paid close enough attention, but it isn't. This team is deeper, stronger in every way, with more ways to beat you than in past versions, and this team has been through it all, including a week-long layoff between rounds 1 and 2, and that didn't go too badly. Let me bring in Mike Maniscalco and Trip Tracy. 11 days off. I don't think it's going to matter in this series, but it might at the start. So let me start with you, Mike. What are you looking for as an indicator when we get going?
Passes, and can you connect them early? Because I think that's the one thing when you have the layoff, you can't simulate game speed.
Right.
As much as these teams practice, and the one thing that I love that Rod Brindamore did during the practices, it was the top defensive lines against the top offensive lines. So you keep sharpening those 2 sets the way you can. But I'll look for the passes. How crisp are they? Are they where they're supposed to be? And can they dictate the pace to Montreal instead of maybe Montreal coming out with that 10-minute burst that we could be expecting?
For me, it's getting on the body. And, within the structure of emphasizing offensive zone time, AG, the Montreal Canadiens are going to pack it in defensively. So even shifts that you prioritize, even if it's on the outside in the Montreal zone, when I think about the Lane Hudsons of the world, Noah Dobson, when he was a New York Islander, the Hurricanes got physical on him, and he was not very effective when they did. You may have had the break that you've had, but the Hurricanes are equipped. You just talked about the steps they've taken to get on the body. So if they value offensive zone time and use that freshness starting here shortly and get on that body against Montreal's skill, I think that it's going to be very helpful.
All right, Trip Tracy, give me a couple things that need to be better in this round to get to the next one.
Well, I'm going to go with the blessing of history to the 2002 conference final. Having the Hurricanes had just beaten the Montreal Canadiens in the second round. They were fueled really by the BBC line.
Yeah.
Rod Brind'Amour, Eric Cole, Bates Battaglia, and the big line. At that time, Ron Francis, Jeff O'Neill, Sammy Kapanen, especially O'Neill and Francis, took over in the conference final. So, the Hurricanes are positioned where, they can beat you with 4 different lines. And I think the 4th line, I love the Jankowski extension between series, might settle his hands. Will Carrier's best series so far in the playoffs en route to winning a Stanley Cup was a conference final as a Vegas Gold Knight against Dallas. I see that 4th line being an X factor, but with the privilege of history. Is this the series? Sebastian Aho has always played well against Montreal going back to the offer sheet. Seth Jarvis, first NHL hat trick against the Montreal Canadiens. Svechnikov has had some big moments. Is this going to be the series where they emerge like the top line did in beating the Toronto Maple Leafs to go to your first ever Stanley Cup Finals in 2002?
Tripp mentioned Jeff O'Neill. Which Hurricane takes a puck in the eye to get themselves going, Mike?
Well,
I'm kidding.
I was going to say,
thankfully guys wear visors.
They all have visors.
Right.
Let me just jump on that one real quick. I'll say discipline. You can't go to the penalty box against this Montreal team. That's the one thing that they can improve on.
5 power plays against per game through 8 games.
AG, Shane Gostisbehere, it's been eons, but his Game 4 against Philadelphia was by far the best he's looked, both at even strength and on Carolina's power play.
I thank you, gentlemen. I look forward to what's coming up in about 10 minutes. And that, of course, is Game 1. And we've got the lineups and a little bit more on the other side. This is Hurricanes Hockey on the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network. Adam Gold in studio with my friend Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I tell people all the time, every single company that I endorse, it's about customer service. You guys are amazing. What is the philosophy of Aluminum Company?
So for us, it's all about helping customers out, right? If you want us to look around and see what windows are the worst, or if you need some doors and windows, we put together a package that works for the customer. There's no pressure. We absolutely try to help with financing options.
800-672-4348 or aluminumcompany.com.
This Memorial Day weekend, make plans to come to the first annual Hot Tub and Sauna Expo, sponsored by Atlantic Spas and Billiards. Factory rebates and discounts for Hot Spring, Caldera, Saratoga, and Free Flow hot tubs. Huge savings on Tilo saunas and endless pool swim spas. The lowest prices of the year and an extra large selection of hot tubs, saunas, swim spas, and even cold plunges. The Hot Tub and Sauna Expo, located at 8721 Glenwood Avenue, Raleigh, 1 mile from RDU Airport on Highway 70. Relax, rejuvenate, and save.
He's setting up to play at Penn Station East Coast Subs.
Can I get a 6-inch hot grilled Italian sub?
He shoots.
Should I grab a bag of chips?
Nope. All our subs come with fresh cut fries.
He scores!
Everybody wins at Penn Station East Coast Subs with hot grilled subs for pickup or delivery. Fresh cut fries. 5 convenient triangle locations. You're set up for a great meal any day when you do it the Penn Station way. Check out the menu and order online today at penn-station.com.
Adam Gold inside Lenovo Center getting you ready. Hurricanes, Canadiens, round 3, game 1. Can't be more of a contrast between these teams when it comes to how they've arrived at this point. Montreal's gone the distance twice. Canes have faced the minimum. Canes have outshot their opponents in all 8 games. Montreal been on the low end of that chart 10 out of 14 times. Canadiens have scored 43 goals, but they've allowed 38, which is more goals than were scored in Carolina's 2 sweeps combined. Special teams numbers. Montreal, 25% of the power play, 13 for 52. 7 for their last 19, however, against the Sabres. Carolina, just 5 out of 37. That's 13.5%. Penalty kill's another story. Carolina's killed off 38 out of 40, 95%. Habs at 74.1% have actually allowed more power play goals than they have scored. But I wouldn't put Carolina's 95% in harm's way too many times. Montreal is next level good on the power play. Canadiens also have 16 different players who have scored goals this postseason, 11 with at least 2. Carolina, who had 11 double-digit scores on the season and 7 with at least 20, have just 5 players with at least 2 goals in the playoffs. And if you kick out the 2 empty netters, it's just 4. Might be time for the Aho line to enter the chat. Injuries and scratches now, brought to you by UNC Health, official healthcare provider of the Carolina Hurricanes. Goaltender Pyotr Kochetkov Forwards Jesperi Kotkaniemi and Nick Delorier, and defenseman Mike Riley are healthy extras. Now we get to the lineup. Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis, and Andrei Svechnikov. I pointed this out. If you take away the 2 empty net goals, Aho, Jarvis, and Svechnikov have combined for just 7 points. Combined in 8 games. That's less than each of Stankov and Hall and Blake, who are Carolina's second line. They have been scintillating. The captain, Jordan Stahl, centers Jordan Martinook and Nikolai Ehlers, Eric Robinson with Will Carrier, and Mark Jankowski. Jankowski with a new 2-year contract. On defense, Jacob Slavin and Jalen Chatfield, Keandre Miller and Sean Walker, Shane Gostisbehere, and Alexander Nikishin. Frederick Anderson in net. He has simply been outrageous. 8-0, .950 save percentage, and a 1.12 goals against average. You want to put to rest all the narratives. Carolina can't play at this level. It gets too hard, they go away. This is where they meet their biggest resistance, and that's it. This is the ceiling. The only way to end that conversation is for Carolina to go out, win this series. Does it have to start with a Game 1 win tonight? It doesn't have to, but it would help. It would quiet the restlessness of people, and Carolina needs to get started, have a good game tonight, and see if they can take a 1-0 lead in the series. Mike Maniscalco and Trip Tracy, they will take it from here when we come back. Game 1, Round 3, Eastern Conference Finals. I am Adam Gold. This is the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network.
Dauntless Transmissions has been the trusted transmission shop in Raleigh for more than 27 years. But why do they call it Dauntless Transmissions? Well, dauntless means showing fearlessness and determination. Now, the experts at Dauntless Transmission are dauntless when it comes to caring for your vehicle. Whether that means a total transmission rebuild, complex engine or brake service, or just a routine tune-up, your vehicle will be dauntless when they're done with it. Visit DauntlessTransmissions.com. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
Soundstation and Security, your automotive and audio experts. Car audio, car video, home theater, wheels and tires, and so much more. Plus, did you know Soundstation and Security offers full service for your vehicle? Alignments, inspection, oil changes, window tinting, and custom exhaust. And with a variety of financing options, Soundstation and Security can help you get what you need today. 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Soundstation and Security. Visit myhotsound.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
Warmer weather is here, which means truck time. Take advantage of Declaration of Deals right now at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington and get geared up for a great summer. Drive home a brand new 2026 Ram 1500 for 20% off. Plus get 2.9% financing for 72 months. America's best-selling truck comes with a terrific powertrain limited warranty. 10 years or 100,000 miles. Excludes RHO and tungsten. See dealer for details. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington today.
Adam Golden studio with my friend Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I tell people all the time, every single company that I endorse, it's about customer service. You guys are amazing. What is the philosophy of Aluminum Company?
So for us, it's all about helping customers out, right? If you want us to look around and see what windows are the worst, or if you need some doors and windows, we put together a package that works for the customer. There's no pressure. We absolutely try to help with financing options.
800-672-4348 or aluminumcompany.com.
He's setting up the play at Penn Station East Coast Subs.
Can I get a 6-inch hot grilled Italian sub?
He shoots.
Should I grab a bag of chips?
Nope. All our subs come with fresh cut fries.
He scores!
Everybody wins at Penn Station East Coast Subs with hot grilled subs for pickup or delivery. Fresh cut fries. 5 convenient triangle locations. You're set up for a great meal any day when you do it the Penn Station way. Check out the menu and order online today at penn-station.com.
When sleep isn't working, everything feels harder. Your health, your patience, your focus, even your relationships. I'm Megan Giggling with Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Too often, people are told to wait months or even years just to talk to a sleep specialist. But untreated sleep problems don't wait. At Parkway, care begins within weeks with home sleep studies and fast, coordinated support so people can move forward instead of staying stuck. Better sleep changes everything.
Parkway Sleep, your fastest path to better sleep. Start today at parkwaysleep.com. Sound sleep, sound health.
Life's great stories are built on yes and. Yes to the big game and the private suite. Yes to the beach and sailing offshore. Yes to traveling the country and exploring new ones. With the new Millionaire for Life from the North Carolina Education Lottery, you can say yes to $1 million now and every year for a lifetime. Millionaire for Life. Winning is just the beginning. Drawing 7 days a week. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 8.47. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
The Canes light the lamp. Here, WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
We bring you inside Lenovo Center for Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. The Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Montreal Canadiens. It's been 12 days since we've been on the air, Trip Tracy. But for the Carolina Hurricanes, they know that if they keep doing what they've been doing, if they get 12 wins, they'll be that much closer to the ultimate goal of the Stanley Cup. How do they get there and how do they start tonight?
Well, you just start with a start. And, simplicity in your game. Play north. Don't know, because practice hockey, even though the Hurricanes have scrimmaged quite a bit, it's nothing like game hockey. So you want to make sure you're direct. You want to make sure that your puck management has an emphasis of simplicity early. And right from the get-go, Mike, when you look at the Game 1 wins over Ottawa in the first round, Philadelphia in the second round, you're the fresher team. Get on the body against a team that has played 2 7-game series in Montreal.
Now we are moments away from starting the Eastern Conference Final. Our officials tonight, Garrett Rank and Jean Hébert. Logan Stankoven, who has been centering the hottest line in the postseason, will take the draw. And here we go. The Eastern Conference Finals underway, and the Canes win the draw. This will be flipped high into the Canadian zone. Taylor Hall goes after it. What a postseason. He's having no chance out in front. Blake shoots, and Dobish makes the save. Hall takes the body. Puck still loose. Demidov tries to clear it. He'll get a little bit of help here from Matheson. Out it goes in an early icing against Montreal. What a way to start Game 1. I think we can shake off the rust question.
Well, the line that has been carrying Carolina offensively, Rod starts with Hall, Stankoven, and Blake. Hall with heaviness below the goal line draws 2 Montreal players, and that allows the puck support of Jackson Blake to have an avenue to the front of the net. He tries to beat Dobish low, and Dobish equal to the task, staying square in his butterfly as he moved from right to left. And that line, can they stay as hot as they've been here in the conference final?
Well, Aho now out to take the offensive draw to the right of Jakub Dobish. He'll win it back. Miller, it'll be tipped. No chance, they score! Right off the hop! Seth Jarvis gets the Eastern Conference Final going! 33 seconds in, and the Canes go up 1-0.
Once upon a time, Seth Jarvis had his first NHL hat trick against the Montreal Canadiens. And after that really good shift from the Stankoven line to set the tone, offensive zone draw, Rod goes with the Aho line. Keandre Miller kept a puck in, wrapped it around to Sebastian Aho, opposite side of the ice that Miller was. Aho got it to Svechnikov. Svechnikov put it on a tee for Jarvis, and he wired it beyond Dobish halfway up on the blocker side.
Well, for Seth Jarvis, that is his second of the postseason. And now Carolina going right back to work with the Aho line, but Montreal will be able to break this out. It'll be Suzuki. He'll leave it for Caulfield into the Kane zone. He'll bounce it off the inboards out in front. Caulfield shoots, he scores! Immediate answer as Montreal's top line gets on the board. And 1 minute into this game, we are tied at 1.
What a bounce back shift from the big-time Montreal line that, has feasted on their power play. This is going to give them a big early series lift at even strength. And they have struggled in particular early in games. I thought that Caulfield made a really good puck management decision just to swipe the puck below the goal line to allow Suzuki and Slafkovsky to go to work. And Carolina had a complete defensive zone coverage breakdown, leaving Caulfield, the guy you don't want to leave all alone in front of the net. Anderson looked like he lost a bit of his footing, so he couldn't really challenge the shot. But that was not defensive zone coverage that we're used to seeing from Carolina against that top Montreal threesome.
The Canes had the lead for exactly 26 seconds. Now another turnover here. This time it's Montreal as play resumes. Canes will keep it in. Stahl with a long drive that goes just wide of the left post of Jakub Dobiš. Carolina trying to keep it in. Knocked out. And Alexander Nikishin. Center ice, he'll flip one in that Dobiš has to body into the corner. Making a play after it is Ehlers. He'll get a little help there from Stahl. The bouncing puck will be scooped up and flipped all the way in the Cane zone. Anderson comes out. He'll have to play that one away from Josh Anderson.
Boy, that's wild, but that's the first time that Frederik Andersen has been scored upon in a game one of these Stanley Cup playoffs.
You look at how the Canes have played, especially in this building. Now a chance out in front. Anderson comes up with a monster save on Bolduc. Now comes across neck and chance. Anderson waves the glove at it. Able to make a play, but he cannot settle it down. Kept in. Play by Doc. Now Carolina looking to clear. Up the boards and Will Carrier with it. Slide it across to Miller. Jankowski, good play to stay on side at the left wing boards. Miller all the way out on the forecheck. Matheson is taken out of the play, but able to work the puck forward for Oliver Kapanen. He's the nephew of Sammy Kapanen.
Carolina's defensive zone coverage, both on the goal and then that Bolduc a chance. Bolduc had a nice goal in Game 7 in Buffalo Monday night. It's been a bit of an adventure here in the first 2.5 minutes.
Now Stankoven now trying to make a play in between the blue lines. He does from Alex Newhook, who's having an unbelievable postseason. A bouncing puck in on Dobiš, and he'll get the glove to it and hang on. 17-12 left in the first. If you're just joining us, one, where have you been? And two, you've missed 2 goals. One by Carolina, one by Montreal. It's 1-1 here in the first.
Well, Montreal scores in the forecheck, and then on the rush, Carolina just did not decipher where Texier, the Montreal forward, was going with the puck to a streaking Bolduc on the outside. But that's encouraging for Frederik Andersen to immediately make a big save after giving up the tying goal.
Offensive zone draw coming up, but Stankoven waved out of the circle. Hall will take it in the right wing circle. He'll win it back. Slavin's shot gets through, and save made there by Dobiš. Canes get possession. Blake to Stankoven down the right wing boards. He'll be stripped of the puck. Good work done here by Montreal, and they'll navigate this one into the Hurricane zone. Down the boards, and Anderson comes out in the trapezoid to play it up. Along the boards, not handled there, but a second chance by Slavin. That'll be taken away. Demidov sends it across in an almost tic-tac-toe play, but Evans tied up at the last second, missed the net, and the Canes can clear.
Not often that Jacob Slavin has a chance to clear it, and he doesn't. That's everything but a tap-in, so that's a nice bounce for Carolina. Evans, who's had a great playoff, to miss that gaping net on that puck movement play.
Now this puck played out by Carolina. They'll skate this to safety as Jarvis, the goal scorer, he'll get this across the blue line, but no further. Montreal in control, and Slafkovsky rings this one around the boards. Walker tries to get a body to it. It'll pop free, and the Canes can skate it out, and they have numbers if they hustle. Aho with it. He'll feel it off for Svechnikov. Right wing boards trying to send it across, but we get a whistle behind the play.
They're going to call
penalties coming up.
2 penalties or just the penalty to Montreal? Sean Walker lost his footing just outside the Montreal blue line. Announcement coming.
Both doors open.
Carolina 26, minor penalty interference. Montreal 14, minor penalty embellishment.
Okay, so, John, it's the encounter happened just outside the Carolina blue line. I mean, Suzuki was trailing the play.
Yeah.
When I look at, was Sean Walker guilty of interference? That's interesting because I'm not even sure that he knew Suzuki was coming. That's an early message from Jean Hebert that anything approaching embellishment is not going to go. So we'll see 4-on-4 hockey. Prior to that, I mean, Jake Evans did everything but give Montreal their first lead of the series. So far, when you think about rust, partner, it's been how Carolina has been dialed defensively or lack thereof. That's been the one rusty element.
Aho waved out of the face-off circle. So Jarvis will take it. It's Aho and Jarvis with Chatfield and Slavin, the 4 out for Carolina. Alexander Carrier is out there. Now here's a chance on a break coming through the score. As Philip Deneau comes in and beats Frederick Anderson to the glove hand. And Montreal has a 2-1 lead.
In different situations here, not even 5 minutes into the game, we've just seen Carolina not look like themselves defensively. The forecheck on the Caulfield goal, the transition on the Balduke chance, and now 4-on-4, where Jacob Slavin decided to pinch and play with pressure in the neutral zone. And Josh Anderson makes a heck of a play to Deneau, and Deneau from distance beats Anderson to the glove side, between the glove and his glove side pad. Truthfully, we're not used to seeing this type of defensive decisions from the Hurricanes in the early going tonight.
As there's now 15:45 left here in the first, and Montreal with a 2-1 lead here at Lenovo Center. And it's still 4-on-4 for the next minute 34. Montreal will send this one in sharp angle. Shot put right on. Anderson extends to make the save as the first offering by Anderson was stopped by Anderson with an E, and then he'll get a whistle.
Frederick Anderson cannot slow this game down enough at this moment. I think at this point, you got to get yourselves to the first commercial timeout and then reset. Josh Anderson gets in with speed. Josh Anderson has had a super playoff. When you look at how he played in the Buffalo series, and I don't think that the Canadiens have a ton of heaviness up front. Anderson provides that, and it's complemented by the fact that he can really skate, and that has been on display here in the first segment of the first period.
Defensive zone draw here for Carolina. As Evans will take it, and Jankowski is going to be asked to leave the faceoff circle. So another Kane centerman gets the boot, and Andrei Svechnikov will take it. 15:32 left here in the first. We've got some fireworks. And Montreal wins the draw, and Lane Hudson has it. It'll be knocked and sent towards Anderson. Frederick Anderson will clear that one away on the Demidov wrister. Into the corner it goes. Now to be played back. A chance for Dobson. He'll hand it off. And it'll be a chance for Hudson. Hudson will be knocked to the ice. He'll lose the puck, but it'll be kept in. Good play by Dobson. Hudson has it blocked by Svechnikov. And Carolina has a chance to clear. The rolling puck. Nikishin sends it rink wide. Svechnikov. He'll move it down the left wing boards. He'll snap a shot. Dobish makes the save. Rebound to the corner, and it'll find its way for Lane Hudson. Hudson plays it up for Evans. Now a bit of a slower pace here as we still have 35 seconds left of 4-on-4 hockey.
Svechnikov does look good here in the early going for Carolina. He's possibly been the Hurricanes' best player. Big defensive play on a block, and then physical, aside from setting up the Jarvis goal.
Now Montreal will slide this one to the neutral zone. It'll be handed off, and a snapshot will be caught as Anderson gets the glove to that, and he'll hang on the Texier offering.
Montreal's quick, aren't they? I mean, they're in a groove. After winning in 7 games on the New Hook overtime winner Monday night, they get 2 full days off. That allows you to get the rest that you need, but also stay in rhythm. And that rhythm has been on their side here in the first period so far. And, you can feel the veteran in Frederick Anderson. Every chance he gets, partner, he is, taking whistles that maybe in the Ottawa and Philadelphia series, he would have kept play moving along.
Face off now to the right of Frederick Anderson. And now Newhook will be asked to leave the face-off
The
circle.
linesmen with the boot so far, they are sending a message.
So it'll be Texier against Stahl. Jordan Stahl will win this one, and he'll get some help to skate it out. Good play there by Chatfield. He'll hand it off for Ehlers. Ehlers drops it for Stahl into the Montreal zone. His shot will be deflected, and it'll go to the boards and find its way to Newhook. As Alexander Carrier was able to get the stick in front of it. Now Evans snaps a pass. As we're back to 5-on-5. Suzuki and Walker out of the box. Now Ehlers. He'll one-touch this one for Chatfield. He'll peel it back behind his net for Slavin, where Slavin will survey the scene and allow Carolina to change up the forward group. Now Slavin will skate it out, hand it off here for Chatfield. The right wing boards. His pass deflected by Aho all the way in, and Dobish will catch and hang on, and he'll get a whistle. 13:37 left in the first. And we're finding out if we're going to stay here or if this is the icing on the other side of center ice.
That was one touch from Aho at the Montreal blue line, so this is a break for the Hurricanes that they can choose their face-off dot. This is why you're not going to the commercial break, and Sebastian Aho will choose his power side. So this is a real opportunity for the Aho line and company in what would have been a commercial timeout.
Aho wins it back from Miller. Miller redirected out in front by Aho, saved Dobish. Aho's rebound will be deflected. Slafkovsky gives it up to Suzuki. Suzuki into the Canes line. He'll drop it. Slafkovsky's shot. That'll be shouldered away by Anderson. And the loose puck picked up and handed off. Now ambling with it, Jarvis. He'll go cross corner for Svechnikov. Can he get there first just over his stick blade? And Montreal can clear it out. Suzuki into the Cane zone. He'll lose it. Excellent defensive play made there by Keandre Miller, and then he'll just dump this one back in the Montreal zone.
And that shifted was the Suzuki line against the Aho line. Let's see if that continues or if Brind'Amour plays the Stahl line against that top Montreal forward pairing.
Now Anderson tries to clear it out, but that was knocked down by Bolduc. Good play by Gostisbehere, but the Canes couldn't clear. But second attempt, Nikishin will flip it out. Hudson be challenged here. Here's a chance. Robinson, knuckle puck, finds his way back out in front for Carrier. And he's got a big hit on Lane Hudson behind the net. Loose puck picked up by Jankowski at the right point. He'll shuttle it down low. Carrier will muscle his way out in front. And his pass can't connect with Robinson. Then this will be deflected out of the Montreal zone.
Yeah, Carolina's fourth line could be a real X factor in this series. No doubt about it. You love to see Will Carrier get physical on Lane Hudson. That should be a point of emphasis. They've been on the doorstep the whole playoffs. Good shift there.
8 games this postseason for Will Carrier, 48 hits in those previous 8 games for the Stanley Cup winner with Vegas back in 2023. Now Slavin in his own zone, plays it around for Chatfield. He takes a heavy shoulder in Montreal to the loose puck. It'll be hammered out in front, they score! Alexander Texier from the slot, and it's 3-1 here at a stunned Lenovo Center. Montreal in the lead.
Montreal has just been quicker to pucks. Their puck movement has been more precise. They've won more board battles. I do think the Montreal Canadiens are really underrated in their ability to come up with 50-50 pucks, on the walls. And Caden Gooley pinched in to get a puck down to Deneau, who in the snap of a finger found Texier on his offside. The Slavin and Chatfield pairing, who have been elite in the first 2 rounds, they have struggled here in the first 8 minutes and 11 seconds.
Been on the ice for every goal by Montreal here so far. As Dobish now will mishandle it behind the net. Can Carolina take advantage? They'll come up with a puck as Hall has it. He'll absorb a cross-check, but get it back across Walker. He wants to get it through. That'll be blocked. And good play by Newhook, and it'll be sent all the way back here. And be chipped back out to center ice. And Demidov will send this one into the Cane zone where Walker will settle behind his net. He'll hand it off for Miller. Long pass up the left wing boards will be deflected by Stankoven, but that's going to be icing on Carolina with 11:14 here in the first and a 3-1 Montreal lead over the Hurricanes.
Mike, if you were in the trenches of a series, I don't put any of the 3 Montreal goals on Frederik Andersen. I don't. But not even at all. If you were in the trenches of the series, you might think about changing momentum, getting Bussy some work. But now when Frederik Andersen has been off like the rest of the team for as long as they have, you got to make sure in this situation that you didn't want in the early going that, you stick with him and see if the Hurricanes can lock their game back in sooner rather than later.
Well, to put this in perspective, the 8 previous playoff games, Frederik Andersen allowed 10 goals. We are not 10 minutes into this one, and the Canes have allowed 3 goals here in this first period. But that shouldn't be a shock. Montreal's been a first-period team this postseason. Coming into this game, 18 goals for and 11 against. And Anderson was run into, but he's no worse for wear. Kane's coming back the other way. Martinook out in front. He tries the short side. Dobish with the save. Rebound will be flipped out in between the blue lines where Slavin will get to it. He goes across for Chatfield. Back for Slavin. And he will settle it here with 10:20 to go here in the first. Aho lets it go for Martinook. Martinook off of the end boards. It banks off of the Montreal net. Trying to make a play with it is Alexander Carrier. He'll be able to work this one for Hudson. And Bolduc with it now. His pass, that goes through the legs of Doc. And Svechnikov will take it. He'll turn it with speed into the Montreal zone. Flip back, Jarvis takes him again, and a save by Dobish.
He went for the same shot location to Jarvis that he scored his goal with early in the game. Svechnikov has been Carolina's best player. He's a guy that has shown no rust when there's been rust across the board.
Well, Jarvis with it now at the face-off circle, and that is underneath the legs of Dobish, who drifts way out of his crease. Svechnikov thought the puck was loose. He reached in for it. He was given a shove, but a whistle comes. And we'll see if anything comes of what's happened here as Dobish is able to stop play there. 9:38 here in the first period. Montreal with a 3-1 lead over the Carolina Hurricanes. You're listening to the Eastern Conference Final here on the Hurricanes Radio Network.
Mike Maniscalco here, and I'm hanging out with my good friend Paul Auclair, the owner of Deep River Brewing Company and proud sponsor of your Carolina Hurricanes. Paul, tell us a little bit about Deep River Brewing Company.
Deep River Brewing Company is located at 700 West Main Street in historic downtown Clayton, North Carolina. Our brewery and tap room are open Wednesday through Sunday. We have 12 beers on tap and food trucks on site daily.
And you can find Deep River beer at local bottle shops, restaurants, and grocery stores. If you don't find Deep River at your local watering hole, make sure to ask for it by name. And remember, drink local.
For almost a decade, the Hurricanes have trusted their t-shirt needs with Cardinal Apparel. Carolina Hurricanes alumni Shane Willis here to tell you Cardinal Apparel has expanded and relocated to better serve their clients across the state. Formerly known as Raleigh Screen Print, Cardinal Apparel will produce high-quality screen printing while working directly with customers. Don't waste your time online trying to order through third-party vendors. Save money and time working with Cardinal Apparel. Visit cardinalapparel.com to start your order today.
I need a little range, step to the range.
There's a new flavor in town, the Jalapeno Ranch Club at Chick-fil-A. With that juicy Chick-fil-A original spicy or grilled chicken, a buttermilk ranch bun, candied bacon, pepper jack cheese, and jalapeno ranch sauce. It's got big ranch vibes with a little heat. Chick-fil-A's new Jalapeno Ranch Club, available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
9:38 to go here in the first period, game one of the Eastern Conference Final. Montreal has jumped out to a 3-1 lead over the Carolina Hurricanes, despite the Canes scoring 32 seconds into this one trip. So how does Carolina get the edge back here now that we played half of the first period?
Well, I mean, one shift at a time, and I think starting with owning the middle defensively. And then, you know, if you start to show more comfort, you start to show more chemistry, then you can start to pressure the exterior of the rink. I will say, and give Montreal their due. I mean, they've been quick. They've won, it seems like, the majority of 50-50 battles. But the Aho line, this is maybe the best they've looked so far in the playoffs. That's the one positive.
As play resumes, Carolina will deposit this back into the Montreal zone. Stahl goes after it. Matheson has a little trouble with it. He'll reverse it around looking for Dobson. Kept in by Martinook. Tries to get it to Ehlers behind the Montreal net. That's intercepted and will be flung into the Kane zone. Anderson has to play it. Gostisbehere. There's some heavy pressure by Montreal, and this Deneau line has been really good with Anderson and Texier as far as getting in on the Canes' defense when they get the puck in deep.
This is the best that I've seen Josh Anderson play in several years, and he changes the look of their lineup. He's featured on that line.
Now Newhook, who leads Montreal with 7 goals, throws this in the Canes zone, but that's icing with 8:50 remaining here in the first period. So this draw coming all the way back into the Montreal zone.
You know, you look at Dobish, who has been as big of a story as there has been in the entirety of the Stanley Cup playoffs through 2 rounds. You know, he has a really good feel for the game. But at times it does feel like he challenges so much that if you hold on to the puck for an extra split second, you're going to catch him in no man's land.
We'll see if that can play out. As right now they play on Miller. Good play at his blue line. He gets this up for Stankoven. He tries to motor his way around Newhook. He does, and then delivers a big hit behind the net on Struble. As Jaden Struble in here, now a chance, a breakout in front of Anderson, and they score! Demidov with the hands and the move. And it's 4-1 Montreal with 8:28 here in the first period.
I'm just not used to seeing these decisions from Carolina's blue line. Keandre Miller was, I just said, on the middle of the ice. It was a 2-on-2. And he went to try to outnumber just outside Carolina's blue line and created an opportunity for one quick pass from Newhook to Demidov with a ton of speed. Demidov maybe is, in real time, cognizant of the fact that Josh Anderson shot from distance on the breakaway on the second goal, and he made a great move to score on the D.
Well, Montreal has come in here. Now a penalty coming up. And we'll get our first power play of the evening is a high sticking call. There has been more high sticking penalties in this postseason than any I can remember.
Yeah, it's going to be Carrier, the Montreal Carrier, that it's a minor penalty announcement from Jean Hébert. And you know what, Mike? You're going to set the tone for a necessary power play goal coming out of the break. Did think the power play looked the best it's looked late in the series in Philly.
Carolina trailing 4-1 with 8:21 left in the first, but they're going on the first power play of this series. You're listening to NHL Playoff Hockey here on the Hurricanes Radio Network.
To us, every moment matters. Moments of quiet perseverance and loud celebrations. Starting moments and the moments that make us feel unstoppable. We're here to help you be present for them all. UNC Health is dedicated to getting you back to what you love. Faster, stronger, and healthier. Official healthcare provider of the Carolina Hurricanes.
You hear that? That's the sound of Pepsi Zero Sugar. The better tasting, more refreshing Zero Sugar Cola. Listen to that endless pour. Pure refreshment. If it sounds this good, just imagine how it tastes. Oh yeah, so good. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Let your taste decide.
Ambition comes in all shapes and sizes. At First Citizens Bank, we're fit for your ambitions, whatever shape they may take. Whether you're planning for today or tomorrow, we've got the flexibility and know-how to help you reach your goals. Because we're built for what you're building. First Citizens Bank, fit for your ambition. Learn more at firstcitizens.com/ambition.
If the Hurricanes put the biscuit in the basket on the power play, get a free Bowberry biscuit at participating Bojangles tomorrow morning. Bojangles, it's bow time. And the Canes, with 8:21 here in the first, trailing 4-1, get their first power play.
It's baby step time, Mike. One facet of the game at a time, including this man advantage. You take advantage of trying to find your game.
It's also a Powerball power play as Carolina wins the draw. And this will be deflected into the corner for Stahl. He'll go behind the net. He'll play it to Gostisbehere. Down the right wing boards, Gostisbehere. Side of the net out in front. Svechnikov was looking to feed Stahl. Canes can keep this one in. Good pressure on the forecheck here. Jarvis tries to get it back. Oh, with a monstrous hit on Evans, but the puck will come over the blue line. And now a penalty has been called. And are they going to send Aho to the box for that hit on Evans?
Well, I did not think it was interference. Are they going to say he came up high? It looked like he went through the body.
Here's the call.
They're going to call a rough. And, the puck is there. Jake Evans, super playoff. You're not used to this type of hit when you're killing a penalty. It's just clean. And even Evans, was a little bit lower to the ice than typically he would be. And Aho, for me, still avoided any type of head contact. You know, you can see Sebastian Aho's thought process. You know, you've had this start. Yes, you're on the power play, but it's an opportunity to finish a clean body check. That's a surprising call.
Well, it nullifies the Canes power play. Just 27 seconds.
And Montreal did score on the previous 4-on-4.
Yes, they did. So you have to be cognizant of that if you're the Canes, but they'll win the draw in their own zone. And it'll be Ehlers who will skate this out into the Montreal zone. He'll turn at the blue line. Ehlers. He'll dance across. Now we'll get a shot through, and that'll go just wide of the far post. Leaking out is Suzuki. Suzuki trying to get behind the Canes defense. Chatfield catches up to him. And now Montreal will try to get some 4-on-4 work offensively. You can see Montreal has a bit of that plan that we've seen all year, Trip, of flying the forwards if it's a 50-50 puck and trying to create offense that way. Had a couple of looks. Right now, it's Hudson with it at the left point. He'll dance with it. Walk the line on his backhand, feathers it out in front, but played away by Anderson as Suzuki waved at it. And Slavin gets it up to Ehlers.
Oh, Montreal is quick. They're in rhythm. And, I mean, the master of the obvious point so far, especially when you look at Carolina defensively, a team that relies on cohesive pressure that you can't simulate games in practice.
No.
Because it's been way off, especially defensively here in the first period.
Carolina will get control of this puck as it's Blake. He'll send this one in, and a chance. A drag shot is deflected away as Walker had the look. Now Jarvis leaves it for Miller down the left wing boards. He'll get it to Blake. Dropped here for Jarvis. Jarvis works his way to the middle. He goes across the rink. A chance for Walker, a shot, but a glove save made and hangs on to it is Jakub Dobiš, who has, after giving up that first goal to Seth Jarvis, been perfect since.
Yeah, that was a quality glove save, and Sean Walker had the shot. His partner, Keandre Miller, was in proximity to taking away Dobish's eyes. It was a bit of a timing screen. He departed the scene at the last second that allowed Dobiš to locate it, make the save with his glove, and hold on.
6:22 left here in the first. 4-1 Montreal. That is the correct score, as the Canadiens have come out after surrendering the first goal 33 seconds in. Come back with 4 in a row. Now nice play at the Canes blue line to deny here by Slavin. And resetting here is Slafkovsky. He'll get this in deep, trying to work around Chatfield. Plays it all the way around. Dobson goes cross corner with it. His pass off the mark. Slafkovsky leaves it for Suzuki. Out of the box comes Aho as the abbreviated power play's over. So both teams are 0 for 1 on the man advantage. Now a shot gets through by Dobson. Anderson makes the save up for Martinook. He'll feed Aho out of the box. Aho trying to play his way around Dobson, but he loses the puck. Nicely defended there by Noah Dobson, the former Islander, who is familiar with this building in the postseason from his Islander days.
Yeah, and the Hurricanes in those series he played as an Islander, the Hurricanes were able to be physical on him.
Now Nikishin into the zone, hands it off for Hall. He'll get this back. Blake plays it to Gostisbehere. He'll wing one from the top of the left circle. Save Dobiš to the boards. Now a bouncing puck will find its way, and Carrier for Montreal gets it in for Bolduc. Bolduc goes across and unable to connect. Is jumping in on that play was Oliver Kapanen. The Canes coming back the other way. Stankoven, he sends it across. Hall gets the shot through. Dobiš makes the save, and then he'll corral the rebound and get a whistle. 4:55 left in the first period. Montreal has built a 4-1 lead over the Canes here in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. You're listening to Carolina Hurricanes Hockey on the Canes Radio Network.
Your Harris Teeter grocery haul can earn you savings on gas with our fuel points. Earn 1 fuel point for every $1 you spend when you shop with your Vic card on your favorite products, fresh produce, and organic brands. Track your fuel points in the Harris Teeter app and redeem your points to save up to $1 per gallon at the pump. The more you shop, the more points you earn. It's like getting gas money just for shopping like you normally do. Click to learn more. Harris Teeter, in food with love.
When you drive a vehicle so reliable it's backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty, you stop thinking about what you can't do and start doing what you never thought possible. Visit your local Kia dealer today to see what you're capable of in a vehicle that inspires confidence around every corner. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-3334-KIA for details. Always drive safely. Limited inventory available. Warranties include 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain and 5-year 60,000-mile basic. Warranties are limited. See retailer for details.
Hockey is fast, thrilling, and full of energy, just like the Triangle. For 20 years, Lenovo has called North Carolina home, fueling innovation right here in our community. At Lenovo Center, Lenovo and the Carolina Hurricanes continue to elevate every moment on and off the ice. From the rink to the seats, it's all about power, speed, and connection. Cheer louder, celebrate bigger. The action starts at Lenovo Center. See you there. 4:55 remaining in the first. You're listening to Carolina Hurricanes playoff hockey here on the Canes Radio Network alongside Trip Tracy, Mike Maniscalco, and Chris Morris here in the booth with us. Rusty Helzer back in master control. 4-1 Montreal in the lead. Trip, what can Carolina do here in the final 5 minutes of this first to maybe get some momentum?
Well, I think your priority is finding your game, not worrying about coming back in the game. And if you find it, it'll take care of itself. To this point, the last time you played Montreal was in the 2006 first round, and Carolina had secured their playoff spot with a couple weeks to go in the regular season, and Montreal had a start like this. And the Hurricanes eventually found their game, and it took a while.
As we get back to play here, Carolina gets a shot through, and second opportunity will be pinballed to the right wing boards. Now played down low, here's Jankowski. Behind the net, Carrier with a stuff chance. Dobish makes a save. Jankowski cuts through the crease trying to get a piece of it, but Dobish gets the whistle. And then Jankowski comes up after Anderson had a little extracurricular for him.
Dobish on these wraparound from below the goal line to attacking to the front of the net, he is really good at locating and using his size to move low in his butterfly. So, you know, you go back to Jackson Blake's stuff chance on the first shift of the game. That from Will Carrier. There's no room low. You're just going to have to find elevation.
Now Jankowski trying to win this draw here. Montreal will gain possession of the puck. And they'll flip this high, but off of Anderson's back. It'll settle down there for Deneau, and he goes rink wide. And able to work this one into the Canes' end. Matheson takes a hit but makes the play to move it around the boards. Dobson's shot, that misses everything and goes into the net over the tall glass, and that'll stop play with 4:16 left. In a world where AI is changing how people search and discover online, Walk West helps businesses get seen, heard, and cited. For more information about AI adoption and growth consultation services, visit walkwest.com.
You know, just to elaborate on that, Game 1 of the first round in 2006, Montreal came in. They were already in playoff mode. Carolina was not. The Canadiens blitzed the Hurricanes in Game 1. In Game 2, the blitz continued, and then the Hurricanes made a goaltending change. Gerber to Cam Ward. Canadiens ended up winning in overtime, but that's when the Hurricanes started to find semblances of their game. You know, it's tough. You know, practice mode, or in that case, you were out of any type of game mode against a playoff-tested team. And I see the similarities so far.
Now, Dobish again goes out of his net to play it, and he'll give it away along the boards to Ehlers. But his pass intercepted by Dobson, and Montreal can take this the other way. Trying to drag his way around Gostisbehere. Good play by Demidov. He's going to be a good one. He's already a good one. As the rookie has it right now. Demidov from the slot. He snipes one, but that's hung on to by Anderson, and he'll get the whistle with 3:44 left here in a 4-1 game. Montreal on top of Carolina.
Demidov, I thought, took major steps within the 7 games against the Buffalo Sabres. You know, Marty St. Louis, Montreal's head coach, the Hall of Famer that he is, he's like Demidov the entire playoffs. In the first round against Tampa and then against Buffalo, and it took him a while to get rewarded. And you can see right now he's overflowing with confidence, including that beautiful deke on one of the Montreal goals in this period.
Now a chance here for Montreal. Slafkovsky as they win the draw out in front. Suzuki has that one pitched over the top of the net, and then he'll finish Jarvis. And another turnover. Montreal walks this in. Anderson has to be ready as Slafkovsky made the play, and now the Canes skated out. And it'll be taken away. Slafkovsky will get it in deep and flick this one into the corner. Caulfield can't work around Slavin.
Chatfield's allowed to pick up the puck. Jarvis's pass deflects, but right to Svechnikov, who tips it to Aho with a little wrister that goes just wide. Now a chance here. Chatfield hammers one right on, but caught and hung on to by Dobish.
Biggest bright spot for the Carolina Hurricanes in this period has been Aho, Jarvis, and Svechnikov. I'm not going to say the biggest. I'm going to say the only bright spot. The fourth line's had some good looks, too. I think they could be an X factor, but I talked to Sebastian Aho a couple of days ago, and, I reminded him his conference final, I know Carolina lost in 5 games to the Florida Panthers. He found goal-scoring success playing primarily against Alexander Barkov. He had 1 goal come off the board on an offside. Those 3 guys have looked good here in this first period. Only bright spot.
3:06 left in the first. Offensive zone draw for Carolina to the left of Dobish. Stankoven will take it. He'll bat that one into the corner as Canes try to get a win against Deneau, but he's able to work it out, and Anderson with it. Anderson muscles his way into the Canes zone, flipped across, and that pass a little bit too much sauce for Texier. Coming the other way, it's Stankoven. He'll hustle into the Montreal zone, work his way behind the net. He'll play it up along the boards. It'll be kept in by Hall. That shot ricochets off of a leg. Then Hall with a big hit at the Montreal blue line, and the loose puck will just be chipped into the Canes zone, and they'll wave off icing. It was on the other side of center ice. And the Canes will gather it. Miller with 2:30 left here in the first period. Now Miller will start it out of his zone. His long pass, trying to find Robinson. Eric Robinson will settle it. Get this one in deep. Jankowski lays a hit. Matheson tries to play this one around. He does as Robinson pressured him, but now a chance to keep in for Carolina. Robinson along the boards, his shot deflected. And it'll be taken out by Montreal. Bolduc over his blue line. Chip back into the Canes zone. Oliver Kapanen can't get to it. Gostisbehere will. He'll play it up for Stahl. Stahl into the Montreal zone. He'll take this one in deep. He'll get it right back. Stahl centering one out in front, and trying to get to it was Ehlers. He was taken down. Fans want to call, not happening. Martinook, he's interfered with, and no call there. Montreal coming back the other way. It's Hudson. He'll dip this one deep in the Cane zone. Deflects out Anderson. Able to play it off the glass for Ehlers. Ehlers to Gostisbehere. Gostisbehere into the Montreal zone. Backing off Hudson. His backhander deflects to the boards. Quick snapshot by Ehlers. That's handled by Dobish. And the rebound cleared by Montreal. Swatted into the Cane zone. And behind Anderson's net it goes.
That was a heck of a pass from Jordan Stahl along the goal line to Ehlers. Ehlers couldn't play it immediately on his stick. Tried to go from his skate to his stick.
Now Jarvis leaves it for Chatfield. Aho with a big hit out in front. Carolina forcing the turnover. Svechnikov moving in. His shot. Just getting a piece of it is Dobish. Rebound. Svechnikov out in front. Trying to connect with Jarvis. Good stick to tie up the Canes goal scorer in this game. And the loose puck picked up by Montreal. 48 seconds to go. Here in period number 1, Montreal leading the Canes 4-1. Now a loose puck in the Canes' end. That'll bounce right to Slavkovsky. Juraj Slavkovsky, a former number 1 pick from the 2024 draft. He's been outstanding with what he has done. The 22 draft, I beg your pardon, and this will be rolled back into the Canes in the Habs zone with 30 seconds left. Now Dobson absorbs a hit but gets it to Slavkovsky. Bouncing puck can't be settled down until it is at the blue line and sent across. Good play by Dobson to keep it in. 12 seconds left in the period. Can Carolina get a rush here? Montreal, Matheson trying to keep it in along the left point. He does. Taken down as Walker. Now you got a little stick battle out in front. Miller to the loose puck. He'll clear it. And that's how the first period comes to an end with Montreal up 4-1 over the Carolina Hurricanes.
The way Carolina plays the game, Mike, with their pressure that has been so supremely effective, if it's a little bit off, it's way off. And that especially showed itself defensively. And the Montreal Canadiens are quick. They're in rhythm. They took advantage. The one bright spot for the Hurricanes in that tough first period, no doubt about it, as I mentioned, was the play of the line. They need to be a top line. The Aho line was good.
First period in the books coming up. Adam Gold will have our first intermission report with Montreal on top of Carolina. 4-1 after 20 minutes here at Lenovo Center in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. You're listening to NHL Playoff Hockey on the Canes Radio Network.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Will?
When I was 50, my whole life fell apart. I lost my job, I lost my wife, I lost the house, I lost pretty much everything except for my life. When the IRS came calling, I just didn't have it in me. I felt like Wile E. Coyote, just waiting for that IRS anvil to drop.
Then Will found tax relief advocates.
I heard their advertisement on the radio, I wrote down the number, and I made the call that changed everything. The IRS gave me a bill for $40,000. Tax Relief Advocates got that down to $3,200. I've paid 9 cents on the dollar. Now that's a great deal in anybody's book.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Will did and call TRA for a consultation.
But for me, the real win is I got my life back.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-488-2578. 800-488-2578. That's 800-488-2578.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Adam Gold inside Lenovo Center. First intermission, no bueno. 4-1 in favor of the Montreal Canadiens. After 20 minutes, Carolina's out shooting Montreal 14-13. But boy, there have been some juicy opportunities, as the scoreboard would indicate, and Montreal has cashed in on a lot of them. They didn't even cash in on all of them. Carolina had a couple of good chances as well. Obviously, Carolina scored the goal. They scored the first goal less than 30 seconds in. Seth Jarvis, that line. And actually, it was the shift before that created the opportunity. Everything you wanted out of the start for Carolina in a 1-0 game where you win the first shift, you force an icing. You had a good scoring chance first. You force an icing. You win the offensive zone faceoff. Seth Jarvis scores. That line actually looked pretty good. Boy, it just dissolved from there. Carolina chasing the play behind the net. Cole Caulfield all alone in front with the puck. And with 1 minute gone, it's 1-1. And you could tell the energy was sort of leaving the building. Then Philip Deneau, breakaway, 4-on-4 situation. Shane Gostisbehere caught up ice ahead of the play, behind the play. And ultimately it's a breakaway for Deneau. Kane, soft clear on the next goal. Good play by Gouli to keep the puck in, cutting in front of Jackson Blake. Deneau finds Texier in front, 3-1. And then in a situation where Carolina has numbers back, Keandre Miller inexplicably goes off to help Sean Walker, who didn't need help. He leaves Ivan Demidov all alone, and it's 4-1. Hurricanes kind of rattled at this point, and you could certainly understand it. It's 4-1 in favor of the Canadiens. And we will listen to highlights next.
Hockey's not just a game. It's a clash of sticks. It's sprays of ice and crazy saves. It's slap shots and the scrape of blades. It's an endless series of touch-and-go moments that make you feel alive. Through the highs and lows, you march your way down the long road to the playoffs alongside your team, with your jersey on and your heart on your sleeve, because they couldn't do it without you. And when you're there for your team, the NHL store is there for you. Check out the largest selection of official NHL gear at NHLShop.com. A Fanatics experience.
The best way to follow the Stanley Cup playoffs is here. The NHL app is your place to get every highlight from every game of every series. Behind-the-scenes playoff content you won't get anywhere else. The most NHL Edge advanced stats, keeping you up to date from round 1 through the Stanley Cup final. When it comes to following the playoffs, don't settle for anything less. The Stanley Cup playoffs are better on the NHL app.
Hear that? That's the sound of digital instants from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With instant wins, progressive jackpots, and bonus games right from your phone. It's non-stop chances to win like you've never seen or heard before. Oh, yeah! Big money! Visit nclottery.com to get in on the action. Must be 18 to play. See prize and odds charts at nclottery.com/digital-instants for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Adam Gold inside Lenovo Center.
4-1 Canadiens, but boy, it started off great for Carolina. Won the opening shift, got a great scoring chance from Jackson Blake, got an icing. Carolina on the ice, winning an offensive zone faceoff.
Now Aho now out to take the offensive draw to the right of Jakub Dobish. He'll win it back. Miller, it'll be tipped. No chance, they score! Right off the hop! Seth Jarvis gets the Eastern Conference Final going! 33 seconds in, and the Canes go up 1-0.
It was great. His second goal of the playoffs. Svechnikov and Aho got to help Carolina. 5-on-5 goal for that line. They needed to have that happen. Maybe it'll be a harbinger coming up later on. However, it did not go well from there. Montreal scored 4 times, but we'll carry it. Great opportunity here.
Here's Jankowski behind the net. Carrier with a stuff chance. Dobish makes the save. Jankowski cuts through the crease trying to get a piece of it, but Dobish gets the whistle. And then Jankowski comes up after Anderson had a little extracurricular for him.
Yep. Carolina's got to do better with some of their chances. Aho, I thought the Aho line was good, but boy, Carolina's got to be a whole lot better in their own end. Jacob Slavin and Jalen Chatfield on the ice for a lot of those goals. We'll talk it over with Walt Ruff next.
Things people don't believe in. Little green aliens. Bigfoot. And that Spectrum TV combines all your favorite streaming apps with live TV at no extra cost. But that one is actually true. You get over $100 worth of streaming apps like HBO Max, Hulu, Paramount Plus, Peacock, AMC Plus, and more, included with live TV at no extra cost. It's only the way TV should be. It's only everything. Learn more at SpectrumTV.com.
Hey, Caniacs. As the official security partner of the Carolina Hurricanes, the local team at Vector Security is committed to protecting homes and businesses across the Research Triangle. Our families live here and contribute to our communities, so we have a vested interest in keeping the homes and businesses of our neighbors safe and secure. Visit vectorsecurity.com/canes for a free home or business security assessment. That's vectorsecurity.com/canes.
4-1 Montreal after one period. Didn't think I would be saying that here in Game 1. I am Adam Gold here with Walt Ruff, Hurricanes.com content maestro, wizard of the keyboards. Let's just talk about the first 33 seconds.
Deal.
All right, we can just do that. Because there was a lot good in 33 seconds. You win the opening faceoff, or you win the opening shift. Stankoven, Blake, and Hall creating an opportunity for Jackson Blake. You get an icing. You win that. There was so much good in 33 seconds, so why don't we just stop there?
Works for me. Say no more. Accurate description, Adam Gold. That's why they pay you the big bucks.
Exactly.
Turn your radio volume down to 0 now.
The right guy scored, or at least the right line also produced that goal.
Yeah, what a weight off their shoulders, huh? You're thinking everything's roses at that point. You knock the rust conversation out of the way. Your top line's producing.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody in Lenovo Center was singing.
And then, what happened after that?
Oh, my goodness. That was a well-prepared Montreal Canadiens team who looked like they were very much still in the flow of things.
Sure.
And they did a tremendous job of, I thought, evading Carolina's pressure, moving in transition, and capitalizing on their chances.
Yeah, and then it seems like, well, it's not all the best guys that had it, but on that first goal, which really was a downer, 27 seconds after you make it 1-0, to have 3 players chasing 2 behind the Carolina net. Somebody's got to stay up. Somebody's got to, maybe it's Chatfield that needs to stay back and find Cole Caulfield, because that's not a guy you can let alone.
Well, I think it even starts back in the attacking end, to be honest. You had 3 guys going at, I know forecheck's the principle of the game, but you miss, they make you miss, right? Puck goes up, and then didn't love obviously there was no back checker, right? Nobody coming to clear the front. You don't want to leave a young man who scores 51 in this league alone in front. You just can't do it, but that highlights it all right there. It's a game of inches. It just misses Jalen Chatfield's stick. It just misses Jacob Slavin's stick. And then all of a sudden it's in the back of the net.
Yeah, then 4-on-4, Carolina gets caught up ice. It's a 2-on-1. That's 2-0. I mean, I don't know if Shane Gostisbehere can get back, but He didn't either way, and he was the player caught up ice. Jacob Slavin on the ice for the first 3 goals.
We don't see that very often.
No, we do not. Can defensive coverage, can that be covered in rust?
I don't know. I'm sure you could veil it as such. However, I think for me, again, we were just talking about the first goal. I think it's kind of a game of inches situation. You're certainly, and I'm not presenting that you are, but you can't pin that solely on him, right? And then on their third and fourth goals as well, I mean, Caden Gooley beats Jackson Blake to a puck along the wall, and then Alexander Texier gets free in front. And the fourth goal is another example of Montreal moving a guy out to the neutral zone early. It's one touch, you've got an on-man rush. Right. Another touch, it's a breakaway. So it's got to be cleaned up. Yeah,
and Montreal is very good at getting the puck out of their own end. That's one of the things that they are excellent at. And that's the kryptonite to Carolina's forecheck. If you are adept behind your own goal of getting the puck out, especially with their high level of skill, and I still don't know on the fourth goal what Keandre Miller was thinking. Sean Walker didn't need the help. That's the thing. If Walker needed the help, I could get it. But again, Ivan Demidov, not a guy I'd leave alone.
Skill, speed, and smarts. And Montreal kind of showed all 3, right? You mentioned it. You have to be smart enough to try and evade that pressure as it's coming in your own end. If you can move with speed through the neutral zone and you have the skill to finish it off, that's a pretty darn good recipe. Carolina got a taste of what, if they don't bring their A game, they got the taste of what they're going to be on the wrong end of the series.
Yeah, it's funny. Look, I know how people are processing this. Heck, some of Carolina's own fans are probably processing it the same way. Oh, here we are again. It's the Easter.
Catch everything soccer with Bell's Game Time Bundle.
What about every save? Every header? Tackle? Slide tackle?
Yep.
Penalty kick? Bicycle kick? Every celebration?
Watch every moment with 5TV with RDS and more sports channels. Plus 500 internet. All for $99 a month. Includes autopay credit. Visit bell.ca for more details and to check availability. Bell. Connection is everything.
I'm with a Habs fan. Heading into the next game, what are you hoping for?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about winning battles, winning draws, and winning tickets.
Tickets?
Yeah, Desjardins has this contest to win tickets. You put your name in, give yourself a chance, and you live with the result, you know?
You heard it, Desjardins members. Enter the Take Your Shot contest for a chance to win 2 tickets to the next Habs home game. Contest details and entry at desjardins.com/Habs. Conditions apply.
Are you looking for an insurance broker, passionate and professional? With 65 years of experience, SO Insurance has proven to be totally dedicated to serving its clients. Present in 12 regions in Quebec, their brokers have one priority: to find you the best offer available to insure your home, car, and all other types of motorized vehicles. Call 833-370-2704 or visit SOR.ca to ask for a quote. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
Are you moving, downsizing, or upsizing your home? Say goodbye to moving woes. Visit Depodium Mini Entrepot and store your items safely until your big day arrives. Try 4 weeks free. Limited units available. Details at Depodium.com.
Canadiens hockey is presented by SOR Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
Welcome back to Montreal Canadiens hockey here on TSN 690. I'm Mitch Gell. The Canadiens lead the Carolina Hurricanes 4-1 in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. Let's take a look at your out-of-town scoreboard. Some Major League Baseball action earlier today. The Mets topped the Nationals by a score of 2-1. Pirates take out the Cardinals 6-2. Guardians over the Tigers 3-1. Meanwhile, games in action right now. The Atlanta Braves up 8-3 on the Miami Marlins in a battle of the NL East. And how about the AL East? The New York Yankees hosting the Toronto Blue Jays. And the Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. That game is in the top of the 7th. Coming up next, the second period between the Montreal Canadiens and the Carolina Hurricanes. Habs up 4-1. Victor Finley and JP O'Connor with the call on the TSN 690 Habs Radio Network.
I've always wondered what kind of tires they put on the Zamboni.
I bet they're not summer tires.
Maybe all season?
I doubt it.
Yeah, good point.
Point S, proud partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
Jeez, feels like the Habs are always on the road.
I hope they have good tires.
They fly.
Yeah, good point.
Point S. Until June 30th, get $100 on a prepaid card when you buy 4 eligible Hankook tires. Details at points.ca.
For the first time in a decade, the NHL returns to the great outdoors of Winnipeg.
The Heritage Classic.
October 25th, Mark Scheifele and the Winnipeg Jets face off against Nick Suzuki and the Montreal Canadiens. Outdoors at Princess Auto Stadium in the Tim Hortons NHL Heritage Classic.
Get that outdoor feel in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Don't miss your chance to experience hockey outdoors live.
Hockey under the sky.
Get your tickets now at nhl.com/Heritage Classic.
Are you looking for a damage insurance broker that specializes in commercial insurance? There is only one name, SOR Insurance. Present in 12 regions in Quebec, SOR Insurance brokers are the perfect advisors for you. With more than 65 years experience, SOR Insurance is proud of its team of brokers who stand out for their ability to select the best products for your business. Call 833-370-2704 or visit SOR.ca to ask for a quote. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
This is Montreal Canadiens hockey on your home of the Habs, TSN 690.
After 20 minutes at Lenovo Center, it is a 4-1 lead for the Montreal Canadiens, who blow the doors off in Game 1 of this Eastern Conference Final. Still 40 minutes to play, though, JP. 3-goal lead for the Canadiens. They got to feel pretty good about where they're at, but the Carolina Hurricanes need to get something going here if they want to get themselves back into this game.
Well, we'll understand what this team's going to look like 30 seconds after the puck drops. They managed to score 30 seconds in. After that, it was all Canadians. Freddie Anderson remains in his net. No change so far for Carolina.
So we go right back to center ice. Team switch sides. Habs moving from right to left. And we are underway in the second period of Game 1 in the Eastern Conference Final. As here goes Ivan Demidov to center, down the right wing. In behind the Hurricanes net. Stops, tries to center it. That's taken away to center by Taylor Hall. Crossing it far side, drops off to Stankoven. His shot goes off a leg and wide.
Dobson, who caught that off his looked like it stung.
Canadians chase it out to center ice. Here's Newhook with it. Tries to pass it off. That's wrenched away by Miller. And Taylor Hall goes the other way, crossing it on the line and just flings it toward Dobush, who catches that for the whistle.
Well, more of the same from the Canadians as they go back into their own zone. They know that the pressure is coming heavily from Carolina, so the easiest thing to do is rather than have Carolina come at you north-south, try to get them to go east-west. We're seeing the Canadians catch the puck and immediately go cross-ice with it. It's taken all the sting out of the forecheck and allowing the Canadians to get their legs underneath, get a couple of steps, a few strides, gain some momentum of their own as they head up through the neutral zone. We'll keep an eye on it and see if they continue on with this and if Carolina is able to counter.
Face-off win for Carolina. Chatfield, his shot for the point goes off a leg and wide. Texier will flip it back out through center. A little backspin allows Josh Anderson to catch it. In the Hurricane zone. It's taken away by Jordan Stahl. Thrown away at center, though, right to Alexander Carrier. Carolina back for it with Chatfield. He gets bowled over by Anderson. Jordan Stahl moves it out to center. The Canadians are right back on it. Anderson near side. To the hash marks. Looks behind the net. Picked off by Carolina. Habs get the forecheck going, though, as Josh Anderson gets bumped off the puck. Hurricanes to center.
Not often you're going to see Anderson there getting rocked on his heels. Not Stahl coming in. It's a big, heavy man.
Montreal deep in their own zone. Caden Gooley will loft it out to center. Spun around by Gostisbehere to the near side. And tipped in by Jarvis. Struble behind his own net. He's stapled to the end boards by Svechnikov. Gooley able to wrench it away, though, from the Carolina Hurricanes. It played out through center. Slavkovsky after it. And Nikisha gets there first. He'll spin it around the boards. Canes through center. Aho left side. Stops. Passes off to Gostisbehere. Shane Gostisbehere looks down low behind the Montreal net. Suzuki takes it away from Svechnikov, but the Carolina Hurricanes get back on it. Suzuki gets it away again in the near corner. And the Habs stretch it out through center. Good pass off the far wing. Shot from Caulfield, hit the iron, and stays out off a sharp pass from Hudson. Back the other way. Carolina score. Eric Robinson on a nearly identical play. After Caulfield hit the post, Robinson goes the other way. His shot goes off the iron and in.
Can you believe it? It's a stretch pass for Caulfield, who rifles this puck off the left post. And as quickly as it goes down one way, it's the exact same pass cross ice up to Robinson, who makes no mistake. Tucks this puck short side under the bar. What a finish from Robinson. Goal number 1 for him for the postseason.
And just like that, it's 4-2 after it was almost 5-1. William Carrier gets the assist on that. And Eric Robinson, the former Princeton Tiger, has made it a 4-2 game in Game 1. One of 16 former Princeton Tigers is Eric Robinson to crack the NHL. This puck has moved out to center ice. I know he didn't crack the NHL, but one of the greatest Princeton Tigers of all time is sitting across the table from me on this TSN 690 broadcast.
Oh, you're good for my ego. You're great for my ego, Victor.
Here is Kirby Dach over the line for Zach Bolduc. Far side, back to Dach through the middle. His shot is blocked. Habs settle it down at the line. Stripped away by Blake. Out to center. Alexander Carrier is on it, and he'll slide it over to Kirby Dach. Spun in behind the Carolina net for Anderson. Taken away by the Canes to center. Gostisbehere moves it down the wing. Tipped in. And settled down by Dobish. Demidov to center. Rolls it ahead. Broken up by the Hurricanes. Jackson Blake, right side over the line. Tried to skip it through the middle. Montreal back to center. Taken away by Stankoven. Far side, here's Ehlers. High shot. That one stopped by Dobish. That was right off the cage. Outside of the net, that rolls in on Dobish. He's going to cover that up and get the whistle. 15:44 to go in the second. 4-2 Montreal, and the Hurricanes have some life back in the building, JP.
Oh, they sure do, and rightly so. It's a much better start for Carolina in the second period, and we haven't mentioned Nicky Ehlers' name too often in the first with how the Canadiens played, and I'm sure the Canadiens would like to keep it that way. Nicky Ehlers can be a game changer. He's already got a couple of goals here in the playoffs, and he comes in down the left wing and hammers him off Dobesh's grill.
Hurricanes in the attacking zone. Swung down low. Stahl near side. Battles with Philip Deneau. Behind the net. Stahl tries to center. That goes through, and Canadiens flop it out to center ice. Canes back in. Not very far. It's picked off at center. Walker comes back in over the line. Back into the far corner for Montreal. 5 minutes gone in the first. 4-2 Canadiens lead. Hudson drives through center. Near side, tried to center it. Cut off by Carolina. Can't get out of the zone, though. Texier threw it back down low. Now the puck slides all the way back into the Montreal zone. They're going to call this icing on Carolina.
Well, Montreal just need to settle down a little bit. There was no question that there was going to be a heavy pushback from Carolina. they find the goal that they were looking for, energize the building, and they'll see if they can continue to build on this momentum.
Face-off glove hand side on Freddie Anderson. It's controlled by Carolina. Ehlers spins it round. All the way out to center. Back into the Montreal zone. Goulet pressured by Jarvis. Alexandre Carrier is there for it. Spun all the way out through center. Trying to battle for it here is Suzuki. He's tied up though. And the Hurricanes get out to center. Might have a 3-on-2. As they pass it off, there's a shot from Jarvis. Save made by Dobish as the puck goes out of play.
What we've seen from Carolina here, and it's partly Montreal's fault that they've given up odd man rushes. It's always something that you want to do if you can, pile on that offense, but not at the expense of sacrificing defensive posture, and we've seen the Canadiens sacrifice it with the Caulfield line here as they give up a 3-on-2. Jarvis wires this shot and hammers Dobish in the head. That's back-to-back shifts. We've seen him hitting the mask with pucks. The first one from Ehlers and the second one from Jarvis.
Nikishin off the draw from the line. Tried a little snapshot, didn't get it through. Canadiens collect it and come ahead to center ice. Matheson sweeps it in. Moved around to the far side. Back across the ice. Matheson looks to shovel it down low. That's cut off by Carolina and flown out to center. Canadiens play it back in. Gostisbehere behind his own net. 13:30 left in the second. 4-2 Montreal. As here goes Taylor Hall in on the right side for the Canes. Drops it off. Nikishin in from the line. Tries to center it. Back to the point it goes. Shot is deflected. Nikishin right side now. Off the wing. Drops it back for Gostisbehere. Through the slot, his shot is blocked, and it comes back out through center ice.
It's a nice player with Nikishin as he's coming back to get this puck. He missed a couple of games, the first two of the last series.
Nikishin moves it ahead for Walker. That's snapped in. Clean bill of health tonight for Carolina. Nobody out due to injury. As Lane Hudson, right side, forks it ahead to center ice. Doc spins away from a check. Rips it cross ice for Zach Bolduc. His shot deflects off of Walker, and it's gone up and out of play. That'll send us to a break here with 2:31 to go in the second period of Game 1. It's 4-2 after Eric Robinson's first of the Stanley Cup playoffs on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
Choose the STM to get to an event, you aren't just riding public transit, you're riding a wave of collective energy with fans just like you all the way to the big event. Heading to the Bell Center? No need to put your whole day on ice. With public transit, you won't have to worry about traffic or parking. A trip to Lucien Lallier or Bonaventure Station gets you right to the heart of the action. Now that's what we call putting it on the tape. With the STM, birds of a feather ride together.
Voisin knows everything tastes better after a win. This playoff season, when the Habs take the win, the celebration continues at Voisin. Swing by the following day for a free small Bleu Blanc Rouge slush. Voisin, proud partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Details and conditions in store.
Montreal, the moment you've all been waiting for. Teddy Swims, The Ugly Tour. October 7th at the Bell Center. Get your tickets at teddyswims.com.
Here, we like to keep it fresh because Tim's coffee is brewed fresh every 20 minutes. Whether you're on the go or at your desk, it's always the perfect time for Canada's favorite coffee. Made with 100% premium Arabica beans. It's time for fresh. It's time for Tim's.
Abrisvo is an RSV vaccine. 60 or over? Talk to your healthcare provider about Pfizer's Abrisvo. Visit abrisvo.ca.
The home of your Montreal Canadiens. TSN 690.
12:31 to go in the second period. Canadiens lead game one, 4-2. Well, Carolina have been better in the second period. The shots are 4-1 in the second in favor of the Hurricanes, JP.
Well, Hurricanes have been able to take advantage there. And on that, Eric Robinson goal, there had been a change for the Canadiens. So there's always going to be a bit of a gap there. And it was just the stretch pass that was made available that allowed Robinson to get sprung loose and go in with a finish high on the left side.
Face-off Hurricane zone. Stahl in versus Texier, and the Hurricanes draw it back. Carolina pick it up, snap it to center. Played in deep for the Montreal zone. Walker to the line, long shot. That's turned away by Jakub Dobiš. Now at the side of the net, puck is loose again. It'll be gathered by Nikolai Ehlers. Runs it high in the zone, little spin shot, rejected in front. Tipped down ice by Texier, and that'll be an icing call.
Well, it just turns and this puck gets whipped up to Texier as it gets turned over in the neutral zone. It's Philip Danault who's just looking to see if he can catch Texier with a bit of pace, but slightly out of his reach and all the way down the ice for an icing. You can see Rod Brind'Amour pacing the bench, trying to get his guys to lock in. Still plenty of game left, no doubt that he's telling them.
Canadiens fired around in their own zone. Cannot clear the zone, however, as Svechnikov handles right side. Through the slot, low shot does not make it to the net. Has pushed it all the way out through center. Slavin back to it. Carolina into the attacking zone again. Long drive from Chatfield, blockered away by Dobiš. Canes gather control again at center. And in on the far side, a shot goes off the stick of a Canadian defenseman and high out of play.
You can see how quickly things can turn as Sebastian Aho regroups through the neutral zone and just gets in behind Lane Hudson. Hudson able to catch up at the end, deflect the puck up into the netting. But Aho's looking dangerous here in the second.
Face-off blocker side on Dobiš. Face-off win for the Canadiens. Trying to play it out to center. They can't. Stopped at the line. Here's Jackson Blake. Far side for Carolina. Centers. Goes past Stankoven. Carried up high to the line. Here's Stankoven off his backhand. Little try. That's turned away by Dobiš. And the Habs looking for Caulfield. Loose puck at center. They might have a 2-on-1, but it's broken up by Miller. Corralled at center by Matheson. He'll back up into his own zone with 10:42 remaining in the second. Suzuki bothered at center by Walker. Played to the line. Hurricanes move it right back down ice. Right side. Here's Taylor Hall. Works his way in. Tried to center. Bounces around. His shot is blocked by Slavkovsky. And Suzuki spins it ahead to center ice. End of a shift here. Caulfield will just play it in deep.
Well, everybody's going for a change, but a missed opportunity from Carolina. Taylor Hall just takes too long, waits himself out of an opportunity.
Stretch to center for the Hurricanes, finds the mark. Carried in by Svechnikov. To the line, look out, Nikishin had trouble, and it's picked off by Demidov. Down the wing, Demidov, cross ice, back in front. That one's flown wide by Newhook, and Nikishin picks it up and plays it to center. Now Robinson gets away. Near side corner, Habs zone. Robinson moves it behind the net. William Carrier is tied up. Puck wedged up along the kick plate. Doesn't seem to be moving anywhere here.
Well, it's not going to go anywhere until Carrier decides he's going to move it.
And William Carrier wrestles it free. Back to Nikishin. His shot goes off a body. Hurricanes cycle it down low. Evans gets in there to pick it off. He'll find Demidov, who will move it ahead, and the Canadiens get up to center, and Goulet chips it in. 9 minutes to go in the second. Hurricanes are looking like the better team in this second period, but they're down 4-2. Nikishin has some trouble with it at center. They'll just flip it in on the backhand. Lane Hudson on it. Hands it off as the Canadiens zip it down ice. And first two, it'll be Oliver Kapanen here, so no icing. Bolduc far side. Back to the line. Throws it cross ice out of the corner. Settled down by the Habs. One time from Zach Bolduc, ends up wide of the net. Canadians cycle it around. Comes back to center. Here go the Hurricanes on a breakaway. Jarvis can't put that home on Dobish. Tried to go to his backhand, but the pad save is made. Now right side. Chatfield's shot goes off the stick of Bolduc and wide. Now pass goes to center. Slavin backs up. And the Hurricanes will try and shoot it in. Right side. Chatfield able to do that. Hurricanes down low. Back up the far side. Jordan Stahl gets to it. Far corner, Martinook. Cycles around. Stahl. Chased down by Jaden Struble. Hands it off. Walker to the net.
Right through the blue paint.
Never got the shot off. Martinook with a try. That goes wide off a body. Hurricane center. They can't get that to go. They work it around the zone. Centering try. Again, no dice for Sean Walker. Habs need to get it clear. To the line, it's held in. Stahl with a drive, and that won't go either.
Deno's lost his stick.
Habs just lob it down ice. And this will go wide for icing.
The Canadians unlucky in that last sequence. They're actually, as that puck gets lofted out of the ice, looked like it might have checked up just in time, but in fact makes it all the way down the ice. There will be no change for the Canadians.
And how many opportunities did the Carolina Hurricanes have off that last shift?
Well, they just keep racking up the shots, and Philip Danault, I think, has gone to the bench for a stick change. Little gamesmanship as he comes back out. Canadians will be looking to get control as into the neutral zone, and it's a long change in the second period, as we know. But they do need fresh bodies.
Both Hudson and Struble have been on the ice for over 2 minutes. Hurricanes win the faceoff. Out of the slot, Blake, his shot redirects right off the glass. Down low, Danault's got it. Pressured by Stankoven. Up the far side wing. Held in by the Hurricanes again. Here's Taylor Hall. Trying to get away from Lane Hudson. He's brought down by Philip Danault. Hudson is on it. Trying to play it out. And he can't. That's knocked down by Stankoven. Stankoven right side. Center shot incoming. That's stopped by Dobish. Hudson trying to force it ahead. Texier finally rolls it to center ice. Habs need a line change here, and they're going to get it. At least a couple bodies. It's given away here to Josh Anderson. He'll drop it off. Suzuki back to the net. And a kick save is made by Freddie Anderson. Hurricanes snap it around to the near side. So 5 fresh skaters on the ice right now for Montreal.
And Josh Anderson finally able to get back to the bench, and Caulfield's over now.
Taylor Hall, far corner. Back in behind the Hurricanes net. Taken away by Caulfield. Feeds the point for Mike Matheson. Tries to play it through on Freddie Anderson. This is settled down by Carolina. Habs spin it back down low. 3 behind the net. Caulfield in to get it. Taken away though by Chatfield. And the Hurricanes fire it down the ice. They've iced the puck here with 5:19 to go in the second, and the Habs still up 4-2.
Well, just when you think that the Canadians are looking like they're on their heels, Carolina makes a defensive miscue and allow the Canadians to get a full line change. Suzuki's line comes on, and they wrench it back. You can see Taylor Hall really struggling right now as everybody's hovering around the minute-and-a-half mark for Carolina.
Face-off glove side on Freddie Anderson. Clean win for Evans. Far side one-time shot. That's stopped by Anderson, and he'll cover up for Carolina. That was the look the Canadiens wanted off the draw, but the save is made, and Carolina will get their line change. We'll take a break here with 5:14 to go in the second. It's 4-2 Montreal on Habs Hockey at TSN 690.
When you choose the STM to get to an event, you aren't just riding public transit. You're riding a wave of collective energy with fans just like you all the way to the big event. Heading to the Bell Center? No need to put your whole day on ice. With public transit, you won't have to worry about traffic or parking. A trip to Lucien Lallier or Bonaventure Station gets you right to the heart of the action. Now that's what we call putting it on the tape. With the STM, birds of a feather ride together.
I'm with a Habs fan. Heading into the next game, what are you hoping for?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about winning battles, winning draws, and winning tickets.
Tickets?
Yeah, Desjardins has this contest to win tickets. You put your name in, give yourself a chance, and you live with the result, you know?
You heard it, Desjardins members. Enter the Take Your Shot contest for a chance to win 2 tickets to the next Habs home game. Contest details and entry at desjardins.com/Habs. Conditions apply.
Trade tariffs, quotas, changing customs regulations. It's a lot, but you don't have to manage it alone. Delmar's customs brokerage experts help you stay compliant, reduce costs, and trade with confidence. Visit DelmarCargo.com. Delmar, logistics made simple. Canadiens Hockey is presented by SOR Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
5:14 to go in the second period at Lenovo Center, and the Montreal Canadiens surviving a little bit here in the second period, being outshot 8-2, but they've still got a 4-2 lead in Game 1 of this Eastern Conference Final.
Victor, we talked about Carolina being off for all those days, 12 days, and it certainly showed in the first period. I thought it showed more mentally than anything, but Carolina seems to have gotten it back on track now, leading Montreal 8-2 in shots, and lots of high-danger opportunities as well.
Shots 22-15 overall in the game for Carolina. As we'll face off in the Hurricane zone. The Jake Evans line is out for Montreal. It'll be Aho, Jarvis, and Svechnikov for the Hurricanes. Habs get a clean win. Far side boards, Demidov trying to spin away from Keandre Miller. Long shot. That's redirected on the way to Freddie Anderson. He's able to make the chest save and cover it up.
That's Walker in front with Newhook, and that's back-to-back chances that the Canadiens have had when pucks get into the net, where Newhook has been buzzing around. Newhook just an incredible series against the Sabres. And he's looking to get going here in Carolina.
Hurricanes win the D-zone face-off and snap it around the near side all the way out to center. Into the Montreal zone. Svechnikov tangled up with Lane Hudson. Far corner. Svechnikov wins it for Jarvis. Tried to feed Sebastian Aho in front. It goes all the way to the point for Walker. Sean Walker dishes off to Aho. His wrister's blocked. Back to Gooley, and that's knocked away from him, out of play.
You know, any chance that Svechnikov gets to get his hands on Hudson, he's going to run him through the glass. But give Svechnikov credit. Listen, he's a tremendous offensive talent, but coming into the game tonight, he was tied with Stahl for the amount of hits for forwards, coming in with 32. Had at least 3 or 4 on that last shift alone.
Just 1 assist in the Flyers series for Aho through 4 games. Had 3 goals against Ottawa in round 1. Hurricanes win the ozone faceoff. Chatfield rolls it down low. Loose in the near side. First to it is Juraj Slafkovsky. Taken away though by the Hurricanes. Played right back around. Tipped through into the slot. Marduk with a drive. That ends up wide. Back off the right side, Slavin. Moves it down low. Kaden Gooley ties up Mortnook. And the puck comes loose for Suzuki. He'll push it ahead. Not out. Canes hold it in. Centering try for Jordan Stahl. Just missed. And now Slavkovsky safely ahead to center for Suzuki. Right side. Canes territory. It's moved back behind the Hurricane net. Here's Slavkovsky. Down to the ice with Chatfield. Taken away by Carolina. As they'll advance to center ice, it's played in off the boards. 3.5 to play in the second. 4-2 Montreal lead. Matheson up to center ice, tipped in. And maybe not. They're going to call this icing on Montreal.
I like the play with Matheson as he starts to feel the pressure coming in. Matheson just rifles this puck around the wall, and he ends up putting the puck past the first layer of forecheckers for Carolina. Unfortunately, as this puck gets up to the red line, stick gets lifted, it ends up going all the way down the ice. But it's the right play by the Canadiens as they try to find their way through. Physically is one thing, but if you can pass past the first line of forecheck, you're going to always find yourself in a better position.
Face off to the blocker side on Dobish. Puck goes all the way out to center. And it's going to be whistled down as the Canadiens tried to carry it in. 3:13 to go in the second period of play. Still 4-2 Montreal in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
The Montreal Canadiens Fan Jam, presented by Lacache, comes to life for the playoffs. Be there for the biggest outdoor party in the city, featuring tattoos, a barber, food, drinks, and more. Rain or shine, join us at the Canadiens Plaza next to the Bell Center before home games only. Free admission, but first come, first served. Experience the playoff frenzy with the most passionate fans. Get all the details at playoffs.canadiens.com.
Hey, you know the difference between the Habs and a tire?
No. What?
There's none. They both have pressure.
Yeah, good point.
Point S, proud partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, whoa, what's that sound?
I don't know. It comes and goes.
You gotta fix that. We can barely hear the game.
Yeah, good point.
Point S. Until June 30th, get $100 on a prepaid card when you buy 4 eligible Hankook tires. Details at points.ca.
Catch everything soccer with Bell's Game Time Bundle.
What about every save? Every header? Tackle? Slide tackle?
Yep.
Penalty kick? Bicycle kick? Every celebration?
Watch every moment with 5TV with RDS and more sports channels. Plus 500 internet. All for $99 a month. Includes autopay credit. Visit bell.ca for more details and to check availability. Bell. Connection is everything.
This is Montreal Canadiens hockey on your home of the Habs, TSN 690.
3:13 to go in the second period of Game 1. The Carolina Hurricanes trail the Montreal Canadiens 4-2. What has been a much different period for Carolina, outshooting Montreal 8-3 in the second stanza. Eric Robinson with the only goal in it thus far.
You know, the difference, of course, Victor, is that it's only the one goal that you just mentioned by Robinson. In the first period, it was the Canadiens piling it on. So the question is, does Montreal have enough left to get out of this, or does Carolina figure out a way to get some pucks past the Habs?
Near side at center. Canadians roll it in. This is going to go for an icing call. Again, it was just 33 seconds into the night. And Seth Jarvis opened up the goal scoring. The Habs answered less than a minute later. Foreign answered in the first period. Gave us a wild start to this conference final.
Yeah, just incredible. And, you know, you're getting it from it's great to get Caulfield on the board if you're the Montreal Canadiens, but you find Dano and Texier in there as well.
Hurricanes try to center it. Comes to the right side for Robinson. To the line. Miller's shot. Blocked in front. Down low for Mark Jankowski. Spills out to the front of the net again. This time handled by Josh Anderson to center. Canes get it. Then they'll loop it right back into the Montreal zone. Josh Anderson Trickles it in near side to the corner. Texier tied up with Sean Walker. Texier under pressure. Throws it through to the net. That's bouncing around in front. Now cleared out through center ice by the Hurricanes.
Well, Freddie Anderson's not waiting for that puck to get fed in from that area. And Texier very nearly finds a rebound in front for Anderson.
This is coughed up by Montreal in their own zone. Long try for Taylor Hall. Still loose at the side of the net. Dobish never saw it, but the Hurricanes can't find it to poke it in. Canadiens to center with Newhook. Played in near side. Hurricanes on it. And Freddie Anderson's going to be forced to cover it up.
Well, it was a bit of a hip check coming in from Demidov.
What a chance just a moment ago, JP, for Carolina.
Yeah, indeed it was. As it comes in, it gets behind Dobish, just trickles past the short side post on Dobesh's blocker. You can hear the reaction from the crowd. And in turn, Dobish trying to scramble back to the goal line.
.141 to go in the second period. Still 4-2 Montreal lead. Face-off blocker side on Anderson. Suzuki in for Montreal, and he wins it back to Mike Matheson. Matheson, weak shot, stopped in front. Hurricanes play it off the boards. Habs hold it in. Here's Dobson. Back to the side, almost able to connect with Caulfield. Instead, it's in the far corner. Slavkovsky battles for it with Jalen Chatfield. Puck comes loose for Carolina, and they'll skate it to center ice. Canadiens will pick it up. Gets away from Caulfield. Carolina tip it right back in the other way. Dobson into the end boards hard under pressure from Jarvis. Near side Aho. All the way up to the blue line. Drops it off. Gostisbehere. Through the middle with a wrister. Bouncing around in front. It's covered up by the glove hand of Jakub Dobish. And he takes some contact in front here. There's a big pile up in the blue paint.
Well, that was Gostisbehere as he feeds this puck in from the blue line, and it's exactly what you want to keep doing if you're Carolina, is to see if you can frustrate Dobish. I talked about Svechnikov earlier and the physical brand that he was playing tonight. And he pulls himself out of that dog pile. He puts his helmet back on, but he's looking and he's hunting for that rebound.
I think we're going to see a lot of this from Svechnikov in this series, JP.
Well, physically he can do it. It's not like you get in there and you're just a pest.
And both Svechnikov and Matheson are going to the penalty box.
Yeah, it's not like you're a pest in there, you know. As much as Brendan Gallagher does a job physically, when the whistle blows and a defender comes in and engages you, Gallagher in all likelihood is going to get pushed aside, and it's the same for the likes of Stankoven and Blake and some of the other players out there. But for Svechnikov, the big body's a heavy man. He can hang in there and battle back.
Svechnikov, 6'2", 195 pounds. He's 26 years of age. Coming off one of his best seasons in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, back to the 30-goal mark. He should be 30 goals in his sleep. He shoots the puck so well, but that's the first time in 4 seasons that he's gotten back to that mark.
In fact, it's a career high, 31 goals and a career high 70 points for Svechnikov. He's done for the period. We're 4-on-4 for the final 47 seconds in the second stanza as the Canadiens win the faceoff back. Deep in their own zone. Picked off by Jackson Blake. Into the slot. Blake drops it back to the line. Healers over to Blake. Back for Nikishin. His shot goes wide off the body, and Jake Evans will pick it up. From behind the net, Evans slows it down. He'll skate ahead to center. Right in over the Hurricane blue line. Lost it. And Nikisha drags it away for Carolina. Just 10 seconds to play here. Carolina to center. Ehlers down the right side. Ehlers centers. Oh, one last shot to finish the period. Domish the save. And the Canadiens will pocket a 2-goal lead going to the third.
Well, there it is with Ehlers again as he looks more and more dangerous. But as this puck comes back to Sebastian Aho for the last shot of the period, just not a lot of angle to shoot at. And it's Domish with the save off the crest.
1 goal in that second period. It belongs to Eric Robinson, who gets it at 2:46. Carolina outshoot the Canadiens 11-3 in the second, but it's a 4-2 lead for Montreal going to the final period in Game 1, this Eastern Conference Final. We got the second intermission roundtable coming your way next on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
Hi, I'm Dan Robertson, and I'd like to take the time today to talk about something I truly believe in. Campbell versus Gallo on TSN 690. Two men that define the word chemistry, a class they both failed in high school. With their powers combined, it's called must-listen sports radio. It has all my favorite things, Campbell and Gallo. I support Campbell versus Gallo, and you should too. Weekdays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on TSN 690.
This ad is paid for and approved by Campbell versus Gallo and unpaid associates.
Catch everything soccer with Bell's Game Time Bundle.
What about every save? Every header? Tackle? Slide tackle?
Yep.
Penalty kick? Bicycle kick? Every celebration?
Watch every moment with 5TV with RDS and more sports channels. Plus 500 internet, all for $99 a month. Includes autopay credit. Visit bell.ca for more details and to check availability. Bell, connection is everything.
I'm with a Habs fan. Heading into the next game, what are you hoping for?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about winning battles, winning draws, and winning tickets.
Tickets?
Yeah, Desjardins has this contest to win tickets. Yeah, put your name in, give yourself a chance, and you live with the result, you know?
You heard it, Desjardins members. Enter the Take Your Shot contest for a chance to win 2 tickets to the next Habs home game. Contest details and entry at desjardins.com/Habs. Conditions apply.
Here, we like to keep it fresh because Tim's coffee is brewed fresh every 20 minutes. Whether you're on the go or at your desk, it's always the perfect time for Canada's favorite coffee, made with 100% premium Arabica beans. It's time for fresh. It's time for Tim's.
The biggest superstar in country music, Luke Combs, presents his My Kind of Saturday Night Tour with special guests, May 29th and 30th at Parc Jean Drapeau. Tickets on sale now at lukecombs.com.
For 60 years, Delmar has delivered excellence. Strikes, delays, tariffs, challenge accepted. With global reach, smart tech, and supply chain mavens, Delmar's proactive approach ensures your cargo keeps moving. DelmarCargo.com. Logistics made simple.
Abrisvo is an RSV vaccine. 60 or over? Talk to your healthcare provider about Pfizer's Abrisvo. Visit abrisvo.ca.
Scoring big starts at Voisin. Through the playoffs, your 20-pack of Molson Canadian cans is at minimum price. Stop by Voisin before the puck drops. Voisin, proud partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
Canadiens hockey is presented by SOR Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
And the Habs stretch it out through center. Good pass off the far wing. Shot from Caulfield, hit the iron, and stays out off a sharp pass from Hudson. Back the other way. Carolina score. Eric Robinson on a nearly identical play. After Caulfield hit the post, Robinson goes the other way. His shot goes off the iron and in.
Can you believe it? It's a stretch pass for Caulfield, who rifles this puck off the left post. And as quickly as it goes down one way, it's the exact same pass cross ice up to Robinson, who makes no mistake. Tucks this puck short side under the bar. What a finish from Robinson. Goal number 1 for him for the postseason.
All the way up to the blue line. Drops it off. Gostisbehere through the middle with a wrister. Bouncing around in front. It's covered up by the glove hand of Jakub Dobeš. And he takes some contact in front here. There's a big pile up in the blue paint.
Welcome back to Montreal Canadiens hockey on TSN 690. I'm Mitch Galloway. Peter Frionis. Canadiens lead the Carolina Hurricanes by a score of 4-2 after 2 periods of play in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. Your second period scoring summary, 246. Eric Robinson from William Carrier. It is time for the second intermission roundtable. I'm Mitch Galloway with Peter Frionis, and we welcome in our play-by-play man, Victor Finley. Victor, I know that it's a big-time cliche, but it always proves to be true. At least it feels that way. It's probably not always true. It's probably not 100% of the time. It's probably only like 10% of the time, but it just feels this way. But when you miss at one end, the goal goes in at the other.
Well, usually it's the Canadians who have the goal going in at the other, though.
Right.
I think then it's true 90% of the time if it's the Canadians with the bounce back chance, or maybe the bounce forward chance.
Nice.
Yeah. Look, I mean, good shot by Caulfield, just didn't go for him, right? And then great pass by Hudson. I wouldn't have had William Carrier as being the guy to match Elaine Hudson's stretch pass on the very same shift, but he's able to find Robinson, and that's a nice goal from a guy that doesn't score a ton of them.
Now, Victor, what about Caulfield? I mean, all the talk was about the 5-on-5 production and lack thereof. So he gets the 5-on-5 goal, immediate response after Seth Jarvis opens up the scoring, and then another grade A opportunity there. There seems to be some areas for him to work in, and how encouraging is that for the Canadiens that he seems right?
Look, I mean, the first chance is it's a 0-on-5. Like there's nobody in front of the Carolina net, right? I mean, so he gets totally lost there in Carolina coverage, and good on him. That's one of the things he's been best at this year is getting lost in coverage. But I think the series is going to tighten up for Carolina. There's no way we're going to see them continue to play, and we didn't see them play like they did in the first and the second period. I mean, great play by Lane Hudson to open up the seam for Caulfield. So as good as Caulfield is on that play, I think it's equal parts Lane Hudson as well. So, I mean, yeah, good start. You're not going to complain about that, but I don't think it's going to get any easier for Cole Caulfield 5-on-5. I'll say that. I think it's only going to get harder as Carolina settle into their game.
Well, talk about settling into their game. Obviously, defensively, and some of the chances that they let up in the first period, we saw some rust. But the one thing we know about Carolina's game that has been there through 2 periods is the shots clock.
Yeah,
Victor, it is 25 shots through 2 periods. I'm no mathematician, but that means they're on pace for just under 40 in the game, probably ending up, somewhere between 35 and 40, maybe even above that, since they're probably going to throw everything at the net in this third period to try to get back in it down by 2. But this is the type of game where Jakub Dobeš has been sharp, but you need your goalie to be sharp because when there's a team that volume shoots like Carolina, you simply can't afford to have a bad one go in.
Yeah, I think Dobeš does pretty well, though, with these volume shooting teams, right? Like, I mean, certainly with Carolina, he handled them great in the regular season, and I'm just trying to rack my brain here. I can't really think of an instance. Maybe there's been a couple in there for Dobeš, but there's not one that sticks out for me where, it looks like he's broken down or been broken down by a team that's just shot a lot. It kind of feels like if Dobeš isn't having a great night, it's just not there to start, right? And maybe it's an early one or a couple. Well, it was an early one tonight, but maybe it's a couple early ones, right, where it gets away from him. But that just hasn't been the case here. It feels like all season teams have thrown a lot at him, and he's been good. And I will say too, or it wasn't you, it was Sean Campbell who did the pregame show, and he brought up with me about the regular season games with Carolina and kind of what we take from that, and my answer is there's not a lot I do take from the regular season meetings, but I do remember from the third game in the regular season between Montreal and Carolina, the Canes piled on the shots in the second period. Freddie Anderson lets in week 1. It gives Montreal the lead, and it was just a game where it feels like Carolina did everything right, but they're still losing, and they looked really frustrated in the third period. And I thought that hurt their game, and I am curious to see if we see any of that creep back in the playoffs, in tonight's game, whatever it is, because they haven't hit a brick wall in the first 8 games of the postseason like they might be here tonight or later on in this series with Jakub Dobeš. So I think Montreal done a pretty good job of keeping themselves level-headed through all the challenges that they've been faced with through 14 games. I don't think we've seen the Carolina Hurricanes really been tested yet in terms of how do they manage their level of frustration when they're doing a lot of things right but still not getting the results.
How about this, Victor? As far as games in which Jakub Dobeš this year has made 34 saves or more. Okay? It's happened seven times.
Okay.
That he's made 34 saves
Can
or
I guess
more.
his record?
Yep.
I'm going to guess it's 6-1 or 6-0-1.
It's better than that. It's 7-0.
There we go. That doesn't shock me at
34
all.
saves against Vegas in January, 35 against Carolina in March, 37 against Tampa Bay in March, 38 against Buffalo in January, 38 against the Devils in that road game in April at the end of the season, 39 saves. We remember the West Coast trip in Los Angeles. They won that one, and his biggest game this year, 43 saves back on March 24th.
Yeah, how about that?
Carolina.
Yep. So that lines up with how I remember it.
I mean, he likes seeing rubber. He likes seeing shots. How about, I want to ask you about Ivan Demidov, Victor, because I think it's another game where Demidov is just all over the ice, creating chances offensively. Yes, he has the one breakaway goal, but he's creating a lot. What have you seen out of Demidov since, say, maybe Game 5 in the Buffalo series where he started to heat up?
Yeah, was it Game 5 or was it a little earlier in the Buffalo series? I know there was a game there where
Game 5 is when he scored his first goal. That's why I go back there.
Yeah, I think it was Game 4, maybe Game 3 though, that he looked really good and he just didn't get a goal. And Marty was talking about how he was ready to pop. It looked to me like he had found something that he just didn't have in the Tampa Bay series. And yeah, I think just generally since then, so I think it predates the first playoff goal for him, but I think he's just doing a lot of things the right way right now. And I did an interview this morning with our friends over in Ottawa on their radio station, and they were asking me about Demidov and what impresses me the most about him. And I defaulted to what Marty would say when he's asked about Demidov, and that's that he doesn't cheat for offense. And I'm seeing the same thing here too. Even though he's looking dangerous, like you said, Mitch, he's getting some points, getting some goals now, it still doesn't look like he's cheating to get any of that. And I think that's really rare out of a 20-year-old kid who has always been an offensively inclined player back home in Russia, and now he is still expected to be that here at the highest level, but he's not going to win a Selke. He's not going to be the best defensive forward on this team. He doesn't have to be. He just doesn't. The only thing he needs to make sure he does is not cheat for offense, and he's never done that here at all this season for the Montreal Canadiens. So that, to me, is impressive relative for what he is and the age that he's at.
Well, as you're saying that, I mean, all I can think about is how Game 7 overtime, before we get to the new hook goal, it starts with a great play defensively from Demidov, not offensively, a defensive play.
Yep, exactly. And I think it just seems to have come pretty naturally for Demidov this year. I don't think that's something Marty has really had to hammer in. I think he's had to remind him of it for sure, but I don't think that's been something that Marty St. Louis has had to hammer in with Demidov all year. It seems to have come pretty naturally for him. So I think that's really impressive.
Thank you, Victor. Go get ready for the third period.
You're welcome, Mitch.
There's Victor Finley, our play-by-play man here on Montreal Canadiens Hockey. The Canadiens have a 4-2 lead on the Carolina Hurricanes after 2 periods of play in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. Coming up next, we'll get you caught up with the out-of-town scoreboard.
All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Montreal Canadiens is expressly prohibited.
When you choose the STM to get to an event, you aren't just riding public transit. You're riding a wave of collective energy with fans just like you all the way to the big event. Heading to the Bell Center? No need to put your whole day on ice. With public transit, you won't have to worry about traffic or parking. A trip to Lucien Lallier or Bonaventure Station gets you right to the heart of the action. Now that's what we call putting it on the tape. With the STM, birds of a feather ride together.
For the first time in a decade, the NHL returns to the great outdoors of Winnipeg.
The Heritage Classic.
October 25th, Mark Scheifele and the Winnipeg Jets face off against Nick Suzuki and the Montreal Canadiens. Outdoors at Princess Auto Stadium in the Tim Hortons NHL Heritage Classic.
Get that outdoor feel in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Don't miss your chance to experience hockey outdoors live.
Hockey under the sky.
Get your tickets now at NHL.com/Heritage Classic.
I'm with a Habs fan. Heading into the next game, what are you hoping for?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about winning battles, winning draws, and winning tickets.
Tickets?
Yeah, Desjardins has this contest to win tickets. You put your name in, give yourself a chance, and you live with the result, you know?
You heard it, Desjardins members. Enter the Take Your Shot contest for a chance to win 2 tickets to the next Habs home game. Contest details and entry at Desjardins.com/Habs. Conditions apply.
Here, we like to keep it fresh because Tim's coffee is brewed fresh every 20 minutes. Whether you're on the go or at your desk, it's always the perfect time for Canada's favorite coffee, made with 100% premium Arabica beans. It's time for fresh. It's time for Tim's.
Montreal, the moment you've all been waiting for. Teddy Swims, The Ugly Tour. October 7th at the Bell Center. Get your tickets at teddyswims.com.
Canadiens hockey is presented by SOR Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
Let's go with your out-of-town scoreboard as we look to Major League Baseball. The Toronto Blue Jays score a 2-0 win over the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Coming up next, the third period between Carolina and Montreal. Habs up 4-2. Victor Finley and JP O'Connor with the call on TSN 690.
You're listening to the home of sports in Montreal. TSN 690, CKGM, and iHeart Radio Station.
Third round against Carolina. The pace is picking up. The pressure is on. And Quebec is ready. For tonight's game, it's Lafleur. For every goal, it's Lafleur. Overtime, it's Lafleur. Lafleur, proud partner of the Montreal Canadiens and the Hot Dog of Champions since 1912.
Catch everything soccer with Bell's Game Time Bundle.
What about every save? Every header? Tackle? Slide tackle?
Yep.
Penalty kick? Bicycle kick? Every celebration?
Watch every moment with 5TV with RDS and more sports channels. Plus 500 internet. All for $99 a month. Includes autopay credit. Visit bell.ca for more details and to check availability. Bell. Connection is everything.
The home of your Montreal Canadiens. TSN 690.
Welcome back to Habs Hockey on TSN 690. Victor Finley alongside JP O'Connor settling in for the start of the third period between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Montreal Canadiens. JP, that was a bit of a start and stop stuttery second period for the Montreal Canadiens. They give up one goal. Eric Robinson on the Carolina side. And it is still a 2-goal cushion here, but we have seen that slip before for Montreal, and the Hurricanes got to feel like they are still in the realm of tying this game.
Well, I would think so, and I would hope that, Rod Brindamore is in the locker room trying to remind his players that, they've got 8 wins under their belts already and that they could very much get back in this. It was a better period for Carolina. There's no debate there, but I don't think it's anything that the Habs haven't seen in some games versus Buffalo in periods where they got hemmed in and it looked like Montreal was going to collapse. They were able to hang on. Hang on they did in the second period against Carolina, and we'll see what the third period brings as they get ready to come to center ice and drop the puck.
Teams switch sides again. Canadians moving from left to right in this third and final period of regulation of Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. We start this period 4-on-4 for a minute 5. Matheson and Svechnikov in the box. Here's Jarvis through the middle. First shot of the period flies wide on a grade A scoring try for the number 1 center here. As Aho in the far corner carries it up high to the line. Drops it off for Seth Jarvis. Jarvis off the far board. Stops. Drops it at the point for Chatfield. Snap to the net. That's blocked down by Dobish. Canadians settle it. And they're going to get a line change.
Just an incredible chance early on for Carolina as that puck gets bumped into the slot area, and it's Jarvis who comes in, tries to go over Dobesh's glove.
Canadians behind their own net still. Trying to complete that line change. Played all the way up to center. Taken away by Blake. Near side, here's Ehlers. Matheson, Svechnikov out of the box for 5-on-5 again. Centering try goes right to Jake Evans, and he'll bring it to center. Played in behind the Carolina net. Here goes Ehlers to center. Down the left side, cross-ice feed, Stahl with a try. That goes up and out of play.
Ehlers' ability to make space for himself is something to behold, and he comes along the wall, just finds a seam as he slides past Demidov and gets this puck all the way across the ice. And it's Stahl who gets onto the back end of it.
.22 to go in the third. Face-off glove hand side on Dobish. Mark Jankowski in for Carolina against Philip Deneau, and the Hurricanes control off the draw. Trying to center it. That rolls around. It'll be pushed to the near boards by Montreal. Matheson in the corner. Floats it back to the far side. Alexandre Carrier trying to chip it out to center. It goes back behind the net for Matheson. And he'll fly this all the way out to neutral territory. Gostis bears on it. All the way down ice for Robinson, and that is going to be whistled down offside.
Robinson pulled himself offside, didn't have control of his puck as he's just trying to get across the line, and then he's going to bring the puck in towards his body, protect it, and just wait for the second wave of players to come in.
Been talking a fair bit about Eric Robinson tonight. I already mentioned he's a former Princeton Tiger. He's got the one goal tonight. Played in the USHL with the Dubuque Fighting Saints.
Big weekend at Princeton. It's the annual reunions that are going on. I think there's a bunch of guys who would like to be out in the ice.
I guess you're going to be taking the private jet down to attend that.
No, I will. We'll be down. We'll be back shortly.
Carolina through the middle with Logan Stankoven. Goes off the leg. And the Canadians carry to center. Struble down the wing for Doc, trying to center that as Bolduc was wide open. Unable to get that pass, though, through Nikishin.
You can hold Bolduc calling for it, and Doc just couldn't get a handle on it.
Canadians up top at the line. Long shot from Struble. That's no problem for Freddie Anderson, who hangs on for the whistle.
Well, that's an unfortunate play for Bolduc, but follows it up afterwards as Doc gets this puck back to Struble. Struble drifts it in. And that's about as dangerous as we've seen the Canadians probably in the last 5 or 6 minutes. The first couple here are the third, and the last 4 or 5 of the second.
Carolina dug themselves a deep hole early in the first period and have yet to recover as the Habs win the Ozone faceoff. Shot from the line is sifted wide. Back out in front. Chatfield was there to guide it away. And out to center it goes for Montreal. Rolled in toward Freddie Anderson. He'll fire it back out through center. Goes all the way to Dobish. He'll spin that around off the boards. Played out to center for Carolina. Svechnikov off to Jarvis. Far side shot. That one goes off the goalie mask and out of play.
Well, that mask is getting a workout tonight. Is that the third time?
That is the third time.
That's the third time that it's caught Dobish in the mask. And this is a lost board battle with Caulfield as he turns his puck over.
That was deflected, JP. We're just seeing the replay now. Dobson got a stick on it.
Yep.
So make it still twice. 2 headshots on Dobish tonight.
I think he could take a pass on both of those, but it's the turnovers in the neutral zone that are going to end up costing the Canadians.
Face off far side on Dobish. Jordan Stahl wins it back. Keandre Miller throws it round the boards. Sean Walker back down low for Jordan Martinook. Bothered by Texier. Martinook takes it away. Switches down low for Stahl. Jordan Stahl under pressure, and the Canadians work it free. Unable to clear it, though. Stahl from the line. Back down the wing, in behind the net. Dobish out to play it. And Habs defenseman was hauled down in the corner. This is going to be a penalty on Carolina. And Jordan Martinook will go to the box.
Well, it's a tough one for Carolina to take as this puck is on Dobesh's stick. It gets rimmed around. Gets rimmed around the wall. Dooley goes to get his stick on it. Martinook just reaches in. And he knows immediately that he's heading off to the box. I was just thinking a moment ago, we haven't seen any real power plays. Canadians have had one, but it was only for about 20 seconds or so, wasn't it, Victor, in the first period? But here's the first look that the Canadians will really get at the full 2 minutes.
Both teams are 0 for 1 tonight, but not much time on the power play. Carolina's penalty kill has been immaculate this postseason. 95%. They've allowed 2 goals on 40 opposing power plays. Habs look to set it up. Demidov fanned on it. Has to go to center.
There's something you always have to keep an eye out with Carolina, too, as they led the NHL this year with 12 shorthanded goals.
Canadians back from their own zone. Suzuki up to center. Down the far side, drop pass off a stick, goes back into neutral ice for Lane Hudson. Hudson right side, stripped of it. Hurricanes filter it to center ice, and the Canadians get back on it. Now here's Hudson in from center, over the line. Off to Caulfield, through the middle with space. Here's Slavkovsky with a shot. Blocker save made by Anderson. Settled down by Chatfield, trying to clear it, can't. Comes over to Slavin, he'll play it out to center. Carolina in with pressure here. It's Seth Jarvis all by himself. He's just going to pass it all the way back into his own zone.
Look at the clever play with Jarvis. No panic at all as he gets his head up, fires his puck back into his own zone. And this is going to be a good 20 seconds that Carolina's going to take off the clock.
Habs back in behind their own net. Here's Zach Bolduc. Now Texier to center. Crossing the line. Texier, far side. Hooks it round the boards. To the line, and the Habs unable to hold it in. Now here's Jordan Stahl. Gets it away from Bolduc as he'll feed it across. Just 15 seconds left of the 5-on-4. Habs drive it to center. Here's Dobson. Passes around. All the way out through center again. And that'll be it for the Montreal power play. They got one shot on it. Unable to convert. 0 for 2 on the night. 13:57 left in the third. 4-2 Montreal in game 1. 5-on-5, Carolina in their own zone with Shane Gostisbehere. He'll carry to center, shoots it in. Comes over to Gooley. Under pressure from Stankoven. Puck comes free on the far side for Carolina. Gostisbehere up top. Through the slot, drops it off. Move to the inside. Blake can't get that one through on Dobish.
It's electric speed with Blake off the wall as he closes one quick step and he creates the separation he needs to get in on Dobish.
Stankoven hammers it in. Stop behind the net. And Gooley's on it for Montreal. He'll take his time with it. Snaps it up the right side. Habs through center. Here's Slavkovsky through the middle. Makes a move. Scores! Juraj Slavkovsky puts on the moves, opens up the space, and it's 5-2 Montreal.
What a finish by Slafkovsky as he comes in, but this play starts all the way behind Jakub Dobeš. It's Gooley with the puck. Carolina has their forecheck set up, and rather than skate the puck out, he passes the puck out all the way into the neutral zone, onto Caulfield's stick, a bump over to Slafkovsky. Slafkovsky takes Svechnikov one-on-one with the toe drag, pulls it past them, and then short side on Freddie Anderson. Canadians have a 3-goal lead.
5th of the postseason for Slafkovsky, and the first goal for Montreal since Demidov scored at 11:32 of the first period to make it 4-1. 3-goal lead is restored. Now 5-2. Suzuki and Caulfield both get assists. So the first line has come through for the Canadians tonight. Every part of the first line has 2 points as the Habs have iced it here from center.
Well, we talked about it early on, didn't we, Victor? The Canadians having to pass through the first layer of Carolina's forecheck, and give Juraj Slafkovsky credit. When he does get on this puck, he recognizes that he's got Svechnikov in front of him. That's not a natural defender. Svechnikov gets caught reaching in, and it's an easy toe drag play to get in alone on Anderson. And from there, Slafkovsky makes no mistake with his shot.
Habs in their own zone, under pressure. There's Jordan Staal with a big hit near side. Puck gets skied out through center ice. It's rolling all the way back and handled by Freddie Anderson. Now Keandre Miller starts ahead to center and snaps it over for Nick Ehlers. Left side, centering try. That's put wide of the net by Staal. Carolina back on it. Martinook tries to curl one out in front. Back to the line. It's handled by Sean Walker. Hurricanes play it back down low. Martinook to the far side. To the line now. Miller. Back off the left side. Stolen by Demidov. Played around for Hudson. 11:35 to go in the third. Habs up 5-2 in game one. As Hudson drops it off, it'll be Alexander Carrier to take it behind the Montreal net. Canadians tip it in from center. Alexander Nikishin to it first for Carolina. As the puck is played out through center ice. Moved back in by Montreal, deep to Hurricane territory. Gostisbehere. Up the near side to center for Jankowski. Stopped at the blue line, comes over to Eric Robinson. He'll just chip that in from center ice.
A little frustrating setting in for Jankowski in the neutral zone. You feel like you've got an opportunity. He just couldn't get his stick on it, headed back to the bench. Disgusted.
Taken away by Carolina in their own zone. Tip through center. It's settled down by Noah Dobson. Canadians on it. Philip Deneau. In behind his own net with 10:24 to go in the third. Habs to center. Rolled in further by Texier. Josh Anderson moves it around to the corner. Near side. Hurricanes territory. Taken up to center ice by Carolina. Flipped in by Stankoven. Love down by Dobeš, and he's going to hang on to that for the whistle with traffic incoming.
You know, it's not something we've seen a whole lot out of Montreal tonight is the physical side. Carolina's been in on the forecheck. You're expecting to see them with more hits. Montreal, not too much, but they are on the right side of this as they're up 3.
5-2 the lead here for Montreal off of Slafkovsky's 5th of the postseason on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
Logistics made simple, transforming intricate logistics challenges into effortless experiences for clients across the globe. Visit DelmarCargo.com to connect with a Delmar expert today. Delmar, logistics made simple.
Abrisvo is an RSV vaccine. 60 or over? Talk to your healthcare provider about Pfizer's Abrisvo. Visit abrisvo.ca.
Voisin knows everything tastes better after a win. This playoff season, when the Habs take the win, the celebration continues at Voisin. Swing by the following day for a free small Bleu Blanc Rouge slush. Voisin, proud partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Details and conditions in store.
For the first time in a decade, the NHL returns to the great outdoors of Winnipeg.
The Heritage Classic.
October 25th, Mark Scheifele and the Winnipeg Jets face off against Nick Suzuki and the Montreal Canadiens. Outdoors at Princess Auto Stadium in the Tim Hortons NHL Heritage Classic.
Get that outdoor feel in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Don't miss your chance to experience hockey outdoors live.
Hockey under the sky.
Get your tickets now at NHL.com/Heritage Classic.
Canadiens hockey is presented by SCORE Insurance. You deserve the best broker there is. SCORE Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens. Enjoy the game.
10:02 to go in the third period at Lenovo Center. It's a 5-2 lead for the Montreal Canadiens thanks to Juraj Slafkovsky, and that's going to put some pretty comfortable breathing room right now between the Habs and their opponents tonight, JP.
Without question. And listen, Slafkovsky, as every Canadiens fan knows, has had all kinds of success on the power play. 8 of his 9 points have come on the power play. But finally manages to get a 5-on-5 goal on that sweet toe drag play past Svechnikov and a clever tuck past Anderson.
Face-off glove set on Dobish. It's won back by Carolina. Far side corner, centering try, doesn't get through. As the Hurricanes spin it down low. That'll be picked up by Philip Deneau. Off the glass. Trying to work it out to center. It does get there. And the Canadiens will play it back. Changing at the bench, here's Alexandre Carrier.
The building's real quiet all of a sudden, Victor.
Juraj Slafkovsky at center. Plays it ahead for Nick Suzuki. He'll follow it in deep with Keandre Miller. Back up the far side, taken away by Nick Ehlers. Feeds it through center. Here's Jordan Martinook. He'll play that in deep. Habs pick it up. Slafkovsky turns away from Aho. Canadiens will just continue to kill some time here in their own zone behind the net. Not a whole lot going on in this third period now that it's 5-2.
Well, here's something else that you got to keep in mind is Brind'Amour still got 8:45 left to go in the third period, but he's going to be talking to his assistants about when he might need to start thinking about pulling a goaltender.
Matheson steps into Seth Jarvis to knock him off the puck. And the Canadiens play it to center where it'll be gloved down by Alexander Nikishin. Gostisbehere in his own zone. Backhands it ahead through center. It skips away from Logan Stankoven. Now settled down by Lane Hudson behind his own net. Here goes Oliver Kapanen. Laid down the near side. No icing here as Freddie Anderson rips it off the boards. Hurricanes try and angle it out through center into the Montreal zone. Delayed penalty here as it goes back the other way for a whistle.
They're going to have a goalie going off for a check from behind. I don't know if they're going to get that or a rough. They're going to give him an interference call. Along the wall, comes in from behind. It's Blake that he catches as Blake tries to get in over the blue line. Carolina's coming back on the power play when we get back from the break.
7:54 to go in the third period. Back in a moment here on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
The Montreal Canadiens Fan Jam, presented by Lacache, comes to life for the playoffs. Be there for the biggest outdoor party in the city, featuring tattoos, a barber, food, drinks, and more. Rain or shine, join us at the Canadiens Plaza next to the Bell Center before home games only. Free admission, but first come, first served. Experience the playoff frenzy with the most passionate fans. Get all the details at playoffs.canadiens.com.
I'm with a Habs fan. Heading into the next game, what are you hoping for?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about winning battles, winning draws, and winning tickets.
Tickets?
Yeah, Desjardins has this contest to win tickets. You put your name in, give yourself a chance, and you live with the result, you know?
You heard it, Desjardins members. Enter the Take Your Shot contest for a chance to win 2 tickets to the next Habs home game. Contest details and entry at desjardins.com/Habs. Conditions apply.
Are you looking for an insurance broker, passionate and professional? With 65 years of experience, SO Insurance has proven to be totally dedicated to serving its clients. Present in 12 regions in Quebec, their brokers have one priority: to find you the best offer available to insure your home, car, and all other types of motorized vehicles. Call 833-370-2704 or visit sor.ca to ask for a quote. You deserve the best broker there is. SO Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
This is Montreal Canadiens hockey on your home of the Habs, TSN 690.
7:54 to go in the third period. And it's a 5-2 Montreal lead, but maybe the door opened a crack here for Carolina, JP, with a chance on the power play for the second time tonight.
Well, agreed, but it's going to have to come quickly. And I wouldn't be surprised in the least if, Carolina manages to get one. Then we'll see probably a timeout and some important decisions if you pull Freddie Anderson right away.
Hurricanes win the face-off, but a pass errantly goes out to center ice. Anderson stays in the net for now. As Caden Gooley is in the box for interference. Here goes Carolina through center. Far side pass to the wing out of the reach of Seth Jarvis. And Mike Matheson is able to clear it out. And at center ice, it'll be Shane Gostisbehere. Snaps it back in. Hurricanes down low. Aho knocked off the puck. Habs roll it to the line, and that is held in by Jarvis. Great effort there. Hurricanes finally get it set. Gostisbehere over to Nick Ehlers. Long wrister, that goes off a leg. Ehlers again. Back and forth with Jarvis. Sharp angle try. That misses high.
It's a tough one for Jarvis as he blows his puck over the net and clears the Canadiens out of the zone.
Dolbish out to stop it behind his net. They'll rattle it around to the far side. They're going to say this is off a Hab player on the bench, and that'll whistle it down with 49 seconds in this Carolina 5-on-4.
You saw Mike Matheson just prior to that sequence get back. He had made the initial clearance, had another opportunity, and fans on one. Those are the ones that usually come back to bite you. Canadians able to get out of that.
At one point, Carolina had a shot in this period, but they've since removed it. So we got 6:40 to go in the third, and the Hurricanes don't have a shot yet. As Carolina have to go back to their own zone here. That is a very rare occurrence. As this is just given away by Keandre Miller. Sloppy play, but he won't pay dearly for it as Dano just plays it in behind the net. And the Hurricanes forced to come up to center out of their own zone again. Far side, Anderson trying to break it up. Hurricanes settle it down though. Ehlers down low for Taylor Hall. Centering try goes all the way through to the far side. Chopped around behind the net. Handled by Dobson. Played out to center. That's all for the power play. Habs kill it off. And again, no shots for Carolina.
We're starting to hear some grumbling in the stands as well.
Here's Ehlers. With speed into the Montreal zone. Broken up. The Canadians play it around. Can't get it out to center. Stahl stopped it at the line. Now the Canadians get out to center ice. And Slavkovsky chips it in. Behind the Carolina net. Spills out in front. Jordan Stahl is there. And the Hurricanes come down the left side. Martinook throws it on net. That's gloved down by Dobish. And he'll freeze it for the whistle. That'll leave just 5 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the third period on the Novo Center. 5-2 Montreal lead in Game 1 on Habs Hockey on TSN 690.
Are you looking for a damage insurance broker that specializes in commercial insurance? There is only one name, SOR Insurance. Present in 12 regions in Quebec, SOR Insurance brokers are the perfect advisors for you. With more than 65 years experience, SOR Insurance is proud of its team of brokers who stand out for their ability to select the best products for your business. Call 833-370-2704 or visit SOR.ca to ask for a quote. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
Catch everything soccer with Bell's Game Time Bundle.
What about every save? Every header? Tackle? Slide tackle?
Yep.
Penalty kick? Bicycle kick? Every celebration?
Watch every moment with 5TV with RDS and more sports channels. Plus 500 internet. All for $99 a month. Includes autopay credit. Visit bell.ca for more details and to check availability. Bell. Connection is everything.
For the first time in a decade, the NHL returns to the great outdoors of Winnipeg.
The Heritage Classic.
October 25th, Mark Scheifele and the Winnipeg Jets face off against Nick Suzuki and the Montreal Canadiens. Outdoors at Princess Auto Stadium in the Tim Hortons NHL Heritage Classic.
Get that outdoor feel in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Don't miss your chance to experience hockey outdoors live.
Hockey under the sky.
Get your tickets now at NHL.com/Heritage Classic.
The home of your Montreal Canadiens. TSN 690.
5:17 to go in the first, or rather in the third period. It is a 5-2 lead for Montreal. Freddie Anderson's on the bench for Carolina as Rob Brennamore is going to put his last card on the table here to try and get the Hurricanes back into this in a miraculous fashion.
Well, this is a tough one as it was the first period where the Canadiens were able to do all of their damage, and I don't think that Carolina faithful have a lot of faith in their club as people are streaming for the exits.
6-on-5. Face off of the Montreal zone. Jarvis rolls it down low for Sebastian Aho. Up high to the point for Gostisbehere. Back down low it goes. Played around to the near side. Hurricanes hold it in. Aho trying to toss it to the net. Doesn't get it through. Aho near side. Walker back to the line. Aho floats it well wide. Back to the point. Walker uncorks a one-timer wide of the mark. Slavkovsky gets to it, and he'll fire it out to center. So 4:36 to go in the third. Still no shots in this third period for Carolina. Plenty of attempts. They have not had an easy time finding the net. Has break up a zone entry and play it down ice. This will go for an icing call.
Well, Canadians will be happy to do this every time the puck comes loose in their zone. It's Philip Danault who gets his stick on it. He tries to go cross ice, a little bit too much weight on it, but Danault's happy to take this face-off back in the zone. Danault's had a pretty solid night, 50%, 9 for 18 so far.
He's also got 1 goal and 1 assist tonight. Multi-point effort.
Pretty busy first period for this third line.
Danault wins another face-off. As it's driven into the near quarter, Carolina pick it up. Slavin at the point, back to the far side. From the hash marks, Jackson Blake rolls it back, skipped wide of the Montreal net. It comes over to Jalen Chatfield. Back behind the net for Taylor Hall. Trying to work it out in front. It gets there, but it's fended off by Montreal. Here's Stankoven now, near side. That's blown wide by Blake, and it's another shot that misses the net for Carolina. Hurricanes slow it down up high. Stankoven near side boards. Rister hits traffic in front. Carolina play it around. Near side, Blake. Off to the far wing. This is a slap shot that goes wide, and again, the Hurricanes do not hit the target. That'll clear all the way down the ice. As Shane Gostisbehere starts to center, snaps it through. It's tipped in. And the Canadiens are the first to it, along their own end boards. Jankowski in there with Martinook and Robinson. Still 6-on-5 for Carolina. They got William Carrier out there as well.
It's a heck of a job by Mike Matheson as he continues to kill time for the Canadiens.
Able to force it all the way out down the ice. And this puck will not have enough gas for icing. Gostisbehere. All the way up to center. They'll rifle it in. Montreal behind their own net. Taken away by Gostisbehere. Shot is blocked. Habs to center. Empty net to shoot at. Here's Slavkovsky. Makes a nice move and puts it in as he dekes out Alexander Nikishin. And it is a 3-point game, 2-goal night for Juraj Slavkovsky.
That's quite the finish by Slavkovsky as he puts Nikishin down on the ice, pulls it to his backhand, gets Nikishin to commit, and finishes off into the empty net. Nick Suzuki is going to catch an assist on this empty net goal from Slavkovsky, who scored the last 2 goals for the Canadiens.
So JP, in 8 games, the Hurricanes give up 10 goals in the first 2 rounds, and tonight they've given up 6.
Now, I don't think anybody would have seen this one coming at all, Victor, especially with the way that Carolina started Seth Jarvis within the first 30 seconds, but Canadians roar back with 4 in the first.
Big night for Slavkovsky, who gets his 6th here from Suzuki and Evans. 3-point game for Suzuki as well. The Habs have it deep in their own zone. 2:17 to go in the third period of game 1. With the Habs comfortably in control, 6-2 on Carolina. Canes come in from center. Here's Stankoven. Near side. Drops it to Miller. His shot ricochets wide off a body in front. Far side try. That misses the net as well. Habs push it to center. DeAndre Miller goes all the way back. Plays it back to neutral territory. Here's Stankoven over the blue line. Off to Taylor Hall. Hall drops it up top for Nikishin. Tries to center it. Goes back to the line, and it'll be held there by Taylor Hall. Hall down the far wing. Spins out of the corner. Gostisbehere tried to center it. I think they've given Carolina a shot out of that sequence, so they, at least unofficially for the time being, have 1 shot in the period. As Capita gets run into.
That's Blake in the corner, finishing his check off just with over a minute left to go, and Capita did not like it.
Canadians dig it free off the boards and play it out through center as Nikishin goes all the way back into his own zone. He'll hand it off for Gostisbehere. 47 seconds remaining in the third. Canes bounce it out through center. Deep to the Montreal zone. Matheson up the wing. Hoisted out through center by Montreal. DeAndre Miller back for it. 30 seconds to go in game 1. Carolina back through center. Far side, William Carrier drives in deep, centering try. Unable to connect with Robinson. Habs in the corner, toss it out to center. Bounced right back in by Carolina, just 10 seconds to go here. Strubal's going to sit on it behind the net. An explosive start tonight in game 1 for the Montreal Canadiens. Sees them fire 4 unanswered to charge ahead 4-1 in the first, and they never look back tonight. A statement victory in game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals sees the Habs take this one in Carolina by a 6-2 final. Caulfield, Deneau, Texier, and Demidov with those 4 unanswered markers in the first, and Slavkovsky with a pair in the third to put this one away for good. Time now for your play of the game. Canadians get to it. Gouli plays it ahead. Here's Texier out to center ice. He'll flip it in. Goes after it on the forecheck. Habs get it off the far side. Center and up front they score! Texier! One-time shot in front, and it's 3-1 Montreal. Alexandre Texier with the game winner tonight, his 4th of the postseason from Deneau and Caden Gouli. as it is time now for the Molson X board. 3 stars of the game. Third star tonight for the Montreal Canadiens with a goal and 1 assist is Philip Deneau. Second star with 3 assists on 4 shots is Nick Suzuki. And your first star with 2 goals and 1 assist on 4 shots for a 3-point night is Juraj Slafkovsky. Montreal off of the right foot as they win Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. And for the second time in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Canadiens string together 2 wins in a row, having beat Buffalo in Game 7 and Carolina in Game 1. We'll be right back at it here on Saturday night. This will be another road game for Montreal, but you can cash it right here. Note the start time, back to the usual 7 p.m. puck drop. We'll have that game along with the pregame and, of course, plenty of postgame coverage right here on Habs Hockey on TSN 690. Speaking of postgame coverage, we've got a lot of that for this game as well. Of course, it is the Delmar postgame show, which I guess we could have teed up when it was 4-1 Montreal in the first period. But the remaining 40 were all a formality tonight. Here is your host, Mitch Gallo.
Very true. Thank you very much, Victor. Delmar postgame show coming up next on TSN 690. Habs fans, how do you feel after the Canadiens take Game 1 on the road against the Carolina Hurricanes? Give us a call at 514-790-1690, or you can reach us via text message at 11690. Coming up on the Delmar postgame show, we'll be getting you player reaction, the coach's comments with Martin St. Louis. We'll be chatting with Victor Finley and JP O'Connor. And, as I mentioned, we want to hear from you. 514-790-1690. The Delmar postgame show is next on TSN 690. Canadiens over the Hurricanes 6-2 in Game 1 of the conference final.
The post-game show brought to you by Delmar. End-to-end supply chain solutions tailored to your business on your home of the Habs, TSN 690. Trade tariffs, quotas, changing customs regulations. It's a lot, but you don't have to manage it alone. Delmar's customs brokerage experts help you stay compliant, reduce costs, and trade with confidence. Visit DelmarCargo.com. Delmar, logistics made simple. Are you looking for an insurance broker, passionate and professional? With 65 years of experience, SO Insurance has proven to be totally dedicated to serving its clients. Present in 12 regions in Quebec, their brokers have one priority: to find you the best offer available to insure your home, car, and all other types of motorized vehicles. Call 833-370-2704 or visit SOR.ca to ask for a quote. You deserve the best broker there is. SOR Insurance, official damage insurance partner of the Montreal Canadiens.
The Montreal Canadiens Fan Jam, presented by Lacache, comes to life for the playoffs. Be there for the biggest outdoor party in the city, featuring tattoos, a barber, food, drinks, and more. Rain or shine, join us at the Canadiens Plaza next to the Bell Center before home games only. Free admission, but first come, first served. Experience the playoff frenzy with the most passionate fans. Get all the details at playoffs.canadiens.com.
Catch everything soccer with Bell's Game Time Bundle.
What about every save? Every header? Tackle? Slide tackle?
Yep.
Penalty kick? Bicycle kick? Every celebration?
Watch every moment with 5TV with RDS and more sports channels. Plus 500 internet, all for $99 a month. Includes autopay credit. Visit bell.ca for more details and to check availability. Bell. Connection is everything.
I'm with a Habs fan. Heading into the next game, what are you hoping for?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's about winning battles, winning draws, and winning tickets.
Tickets?
Yeah, Desjardins has this contest to win tickets. You put your name in, give yourself a chance, and you live with the result, you know?
You heard it, Desjardins members. Enter the Take Your Shot contest for a chance to win 2 tickets to the next Habs home game. Contest details and entry at desjardins.com/Habs. Conditions apply.
Are you looking for a damage insurance broker that specializes in commercial insurance? There is only one name, SOR Insurance. Present in 12 regions in Quebec, SOR Insurance brokers are the perfect advisors for you. With more than 65 years experience, SOR Insurance is proud of its team of brokers who stand out for their ability to select the best products for your business. Call 833